You're enjoying having all this power, aren't you?
A little bit.
You're partially erect now, aren't you?
Yeah, a little bit. All right. Welcome, YouTube. If there's anybody out there, you may notice the lack of a potato on your screen. That's because Adam's not here.
What the hell has he done to us?
I'm not
poor people.
I'm not drunk yet, so.
Well, you should get on that shit. I have this chat open. We'll see if anything actually happens in there.
Sounds good. All right. Bring up. Hold on a second. Let me get rid of my torrent there. All right.
It's going to be the shortest pre-show in rundown history, folks.
Oh, we're supposed to do pre-show shit, aren't we?
And we don't even have Peter Rosenberg, so fuck that.
Well, is it really a pre-show if there's nobody fucking watching it? I mean, I guess I should have asked WB that question, but
if it's a pre-show and we arrived, does that mean we pre-came?
Oh, you ever hit paste and paste something that you didn't even realize that you copied like 2 days ago? I thought I copied that. I'm sorry.
As long as you didn't send your wife something meant for someone else, you're good.
No. Okay, so it looks like, yep. Okay, we are live on the YouTubes. So let me grab this link. Let me see if I can get over to Weebly and put it up there. So yeah,
liver than Chris Cornell. It's episode 294 of the rundown.
Dude, that sucks, man. I felt bad about reading that one. I was like, really, fucking Chris Cornell, dude? Well, shucks. But he killed himself, so
a rock guy killed himself. Shocker.
Yeah, but excuse me, he was old, and normally like they do it younger. So
I was only 50 something. It's not that old.
Yeah.
I mean, I was never a big fan of that band, either one of those bands. So, but a couple songs here and there that I like. But
yeah, I mean, Audio Slave, I like their first album. But a lot of their later stuff, it's just kind of like whatever. Soundgarden, I mean, Black Hole Sun is awesome, but after that, there's a steep decline in in likability for their music. So, but you know, it was a guy who had reinvented himself quite well over the years, so it stayed relevant. I mean, he was still touring. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't know how. I always wondered how cool Black Hole Sun would be if it weren't for the video.
That video is creepy.
Yeah. In a wonderful way, though.
Yeah, they did a good job on it, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's another Seattle guy who killed himself, so I'm sure they think that Courtney Love did it.
I am so mad at myself that I didn't save that picture.
Shucks.
I showed it to my wife, so I have corroboration that it exists. And as soon as we go off the air, I'll find it.
Hugger. Let's see.
I wonder if it's on somebody's Instagram or something. It's sort of a racy photo. Let me search for racy photos with Charlotte and see if anything comes up.
Oh boy. That dumb bitch.
Like, if you're going to take nude selfies in the mirror, maybe not like the second you finished working out and you're at your worst.
I never quite understood that. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
No, I don't get it either. I don't.
I'm going to search Oscar nigger.
2. I have not liked this page yet, so that's probably not the one I'm looking for. This is the one I'm in, so maybe it's in here. Let's see. Actually, no, let me just search group photos. That'll tell me. Probably easier.
What the fuck is this?
What?
I don't even know. If you Google image search Oscar nigger, you get some really weird. You get a bunch of anime pictures, which I have no idea what. I'm not finding it either. So some topless chick though. Oh, because there's a bunch of 4chan stuff. That's why. All right. Bring up. Well, I probably shouldn't lock my phone so I can actually read the notes. I just put it down like I'm done with it. Not fucking done with it. All right. Bring up your Audacity, sir.
All right.
All right.
I'm sure there's going to be plenty of Audacity on this episode.
Oh, there is. Are you ready, sir?
Always.
Finger on the button, paw on the controls. In 3, 2, 1, record.
Now, did you say finger on the controls or finger in my asshole?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. It's the Rundown, episode 294. It is later than Brie Bella's last period. And this week we have 0 Adams. Adam had a little family emergency to take care of. But we're going to soldier on because, like they say in wrestling, the show must go on as long as the black guys go on last. It's Thursday, May 18th, 2017, and it is episode 294 of the Rundown theme song. Awesome. All right. I don't care.
I think the theme song is before we start because that's when I come in. He comes in and I go, theme song! So
Gotcha. Okay, well, he can just put it wherever the fuck he wants then. Anyways,
sounds like prom night.
That's right. It is I, the voice of NXT Revisited and the voice behind the Slashes Sanitarium, is Troy. And with me tonight, the voice of the Rundown Sit Down, is Jason.
Well, one of the voices. Usually the guests have a voice too. Otherwise, it'd be really fucking boring. But yes, right about now, and for those of you joining us on our YouTube channel, if you look over to the right-hand side of your screen, let's be honest, we're starting late. There's probably not anybody there, but if you are, or if you watch later and you want to join next time, slide over to the right-hand side of the screen. You'll see a chat window. You can drop your pants, join the conversation, and we'll read what you say on the show. And Troy, you'll find this interesting. The chat lounge is currently occupied by one Adam Salzer.
What the fuck? Interesting. So, too good to be on your own show, but still couldn't stay away. That's the kind of guy we're dealing with right here. So
I
this show,
feel like we need to increase the train wreck factor now, just because of that.
Well, you should go ahead and say that again because it sounds like my daughter is going to try to make an appearance here. So. So, wrestling happened. That does it for the rundown. So, Raw was live from wherever the fuck they were at. A little bit better of an episode, but the absence of Braun was definitely felt.
Yeah,
it's when WWE just doesn't learn, because if they would realize, hey, we probably shouldn't continue to build a show around 2 guys, so that way if one of them goes down, the show doesn't exactly fall apart. But they decided to have. We've been doing so much reshuffling and everything like that. So, but go ahead and talk about your favorite parts of Raw.
Oh, when you said talk about your favorite parts, I thought we were going to have a discussion about my penis. Of course.
Go to sleep. No, you should go to bed.
No.
Go to bed.
Why always cards?
I'm not gonna play with any cards. You're gonna go to bed. You're supposed to be talking about Raw.
This is way more fun. This might turn into a bonus episode where Troy murders his child on air.
I wouldn't murder her. It's been a long time since we had my daughter on here. Go to sleep.
Yeah.
You were supposed to be asleep an hour ago.
No.
Go to bed.
But I want to stay one.
All right, I'm gonna go put this child to bed. Jason's gonna talk for a little bit about Raw. I'll be right back.
I will be right back. Bye. I speak. I said no.
So that's a thing that happened. See, I get left flying solo. This is already off the rails, and we're like just started. So yes, Monday Night Raw occurred last week, and as Troy started to say, it was an episode that was an improvement from the week before, but that wouldn't take a whole lot because the week before was just a flaming pile of dog shit. This week, of course, the show opened with Kurt Angle discussing Braun Strowman's shattered elbow, said that it required surgery. They then announced that, as they had earlier in the day, that the injury would require him being out for 6 months. It turns out that was, part of storyline, and the reality is the timeline is more where they originally had reported it at 4 to 8 weeks, which could have him back in time to be a little factor at SummerSlam, maybe not working the main event, but maybe making an appearance, a run-in, getting involved, something to set up a situation with Lesnar. I'm sorry, Great Balls of Fire, not SummerSlam, to set up a match at SummerSlam. So that is still a possibility that we could see Braun and Lesnar at SummerSlam. Anyway, in this opening promo, Kurt Angle decided and said, hey, we've got a bunch of guys on the Raw roster who can actually put together a good match, so let's put them all in one match and ruin the next pay-per-view. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to do a fatal five-way where I assume 4 people will die because it's fatal. Featuring, we had Finn Balor, we've got Seth Rollins, we've got Bray Wyatt, we've got Roman Reigns, and Samoa Joe. And I thought the fatal five-way was an interesting choice because typically these matches, multi-person matches, you have an even number so they can pair off, and 5 makes it a little odd and clunky, I think. What do you think, Troy?
Also, I didn't know that they called it a fatal five-way. I thought it was fatal four-way. I thought they never had anything for five-way.
Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. I feel like you could throw an extra person in there to make it 6. So you can have a 6-pack challenge, or remove one of those guys and make it a 4-way.
Yeah, I feel like you easily could have had Miz beat Ambrose for the title on Raw and then put Ambrose in the match.
Yeah. The issue here is it seemed like they were working on having Seth and Joe together, and they were working on having Balor and Wyatt together. And don't just pay no attention to that. So all that really leaves off in this match is Roman Reigns, and nobody wants to see him go for the championship again. So I don't know what they're going to do about that.
Yeah, it was interesting, I thought, because the way they did it with the pictures and announcing each individual person was such a classic Vince move of let's put them all out there and see who gets the biggest reaction. And Roman definitely got the biggest reaction, maybe not the reaction they would particularly like, but from the popular vote, I would say Finn Balor got the best reaction. So in all likelihood, that's probably who's winning this match.
Which kind of sucks, because to have him go against, get his Universal Championship match at Great Balls of Fire, the worst pay-per-view name ever, just to have him job out to Lesnar is kind of a waste of that, where this could be built up to be a pretty big money feud. Mm-hmm. And instead, we're just going to essentially do a feud without the champion in it, which is we're no stranger to with Lesnar. But all signs point to Lesnar retaining at Giant Balls of Fire. So it's like either you just give it to Roman and just let Roman lose again, because honestly, anybody else in that match is going to be a waste of them, and it's going to hurt their momentum a little bit to lose to just be fed to Lesnar.
Yeah, I could be convinced of a scenario where Balor wins the title to kind of get the title back on TV on a regular basis. Strowman somehow gets involved, cost Lesnar the match. That sets up Lesnar and Strowman for SummerSlam, because that match doesn't really need the title for it.
Yeah.
Then you can have down the road, Brock can get it back and still do the WrestleMania match with Roman if that's really what Vince's little heart desires. But I could see it going that way. I don't necessarily think it will, but They should.
Yeah. There's a lot of things they should do that they're not going to do. So that's nothing new.
And sometimes they do things they absolutely should not do. Like this week on Raw, where Alicia Fox cleanly defeated Sasha Banks. And at the risk of pumping up Sal a little bit too much, allow me to say it is what is today is May 17th, week 18th. We can officially say Sasha Banks is ruined.
At least this incarnation of her. If they turn her heel, then all is kind of forgiven. But the problem here is they're building this feud around a botch, which you never want to do. Because they're like, she beat her, but Alicia had her shoulder up. Yeah, that wasn't supposed to happen. That was.
Well, they sort of did that with Bailey and Sasha earlier on too, and turned a match into a three-way dance or whatever it was.
Yeah, but that's not. It wasn't Alicia Fox. It's like we're in Bizarro land, where like now all of a sudden Raw got infected by whatever infected SmackDown. Where they're like, we're gonna make jobbers stars. Here's fucking Breezango, who has never won a match, and here's Jinder Mahal, who's lost every fucking match since coming back to our show, and now we've got Alicia Fox, who 2 weeks ago was being fought over like she was a possession, and now she's suddenly a legit title contender because she beat a 3-time women's champion clean.
Yeah. But you got to give it to the 205 Slam Pig. She has a very nice Northern Light suplex.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? The same thing that people say about her is the same shit they say about Natalya. Doesn't make me care about Natalya any better. Oh, Natalya, she's a good technical wrestler. She's also boring as sin, has no fucking character, can't act, is fucking obnoxious, and is a useless spot. He has a useless spot on the roster. And here's Alicia Fox, who can barely get booked on the show, going over a woman who was the focal point of a year-long feud with Charlotte. You could have had her cheat. You could have had Noam Dar get involved. You could have done anything other than have her just clean as a sheet. Beat her.
Yeah, Smathers in the house in the chat lounge, Smathers Lounge, and probably right about now wondering what the fuck is going on. Yeah, we're flying solo without, well, not solo, but solo together without Adam.
We do a lot of things together without Adam.
Yes. That's why you can only see one of my hands.
You can only see one of mine too. Scratch my beard.
Double Dutch rudder, baby. So we've got, yes, to me, Sasha's been mishandled since day one on this roster. You had fans screaming, "We want Sasha" when she came up. She was the most over. You can make a case she was the most over talent on the roster at that point, and they kept her off TV. And this misguided attempt, we're going to build her heat because we're going to keep her. When they want her, we're going to make them really want her. And you know what happens? People stop caring. Mm-hmm. They don't want you more when they don't see you. They stop giving a shit. They find a shiny new toy to play with in a toy box full of options. And that's exactly what happened. And then they brought her up and they made a big deal about her feud with Charlotte. And then what did they do? They just kind of threw her first world title reign on her in the middle of Raw with no build, no hype, no pay-per-view, no moment. It was just a match and she won. And hey, she's a champion now. And then they took the belt right off of her. And then they gave it right back and took it right off. And gave it right back and took it right off. They've done every single thing that they could have done wrong with Sasha wrong to this point.
This has kind of been the track record of WWE, though, is whenever there's a talent that they themselves haven't decided to push, but the fans have kind of forced them into pushing, they're always really quick to kind of just, okay, here you go, begrudgingly, we're going to push them. And then as soon as there's one misstep, they're just like, nope, we're done. Hands off. And they let them fall. You know, we've seen it before with a lot of guys. I mean, Daniel Bryan is kind of a prime example. Now his injuries, we don't know how they would have reacted to it, but they had him come back for the IC belt. They did not have him come back for the world belt, and it was like, okay, we'll give him an IC run, and maybe we'll see what we've got here, because again, the fans are still pushing it. They were still pushing it hard. And you've seen it with other guys too, where it's like, I mean, look at RVD. RVD was a huge fan favorite. he gets pushed up, becomes an ECW and WWE champion, and then he
got himself arrested.
He got himself arrested, but you know what? Fucking Roman Reigns failed a drug test, and he's still a top guy. And we've seen
but they took the title off of him when he failed it.
Yeah.
It did not involve the cops, and there was not video of it, because there's video of Rob Van Dam's arrest you can find online. And it's interesting you bring that up, because that was a topic on this week's Pritchard show. He went through the whole thing, and basically, my whole approach to that whole thing at the time was, so you put the title on Rob Van Dam, and then get mad he gets caught smoking weed.
Mm-hmm.
Have you met Rob Van Dam before you put the title on him?
Yeah.
But you mean Mr. 420 got caught smoking weed? Really?
Yeah.
Who would have seen that coming?
Mm-hmm. But look at it with Heath Slater. Slater, the fans were mega behind him. There was no plans at all to use him. They wound up making him and Rhino the inaugural champions because of the fact that everyone was pushing it. And as soon as the crowd started to go away, they dropped those titles and were never seen again.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's one of those things where, if WWE has an agenda, and if you fuck with their agenda, they're going to be like, all right, well, this is what you want. You're going to get it. And then they're going to sit there and be like, well, you guys stopped caring, so we're guess we're done. I guess we were right. We shouldn't have pushed them. And then they just tumble down the card.
We'll give you more R-Truth.
That's, oh man. I hope that the R-Truth and Goldust thing leads to them having a retirement match, and that match ends in a double countout. That's, I don't know. I mean, I like Goldust. I'm interested to see him have this. I think this is going to be kind of his final run. And if we do a 6-month heel run with him, or a 1-year heel run with him before he's kind of done with the company, great. Maybe have him eventually win the IC belt for a spell, since he was a multi-time IC champion in the past. But I'm just glad that this was supposed to be like, I mean, I know there wasn't much build to it because it's the Golden Truth, but that crowd was fucking silent as soon as that turn. It was so quiet, you could hear the one person in the crowd go, "Why, Goldust? Why?" Because it was so fucking quiet. And then you got a couple of people started chanting, "Thank you, Goldust," because it's a guy that nobody fucking likes that's getting his ass kicked. So that was gonna happen, but it was one of those things where it's like, okay, well, we got a new heel tag team in Titus O'Neil and Smiling Titus. Well, we got too many tag teams, so I guess get rid of one of them. And that's what they did. Well, and I mean, once Slater and Rhino went over there, it was like the writing's on the wall, dude. People are going to be much more interested in Slater and Rhino than they are Golden Truth. So I'm sure them two guys are like, wait, that's our shtick. We're the comedy tag team. Okay, I guess we're getting broken up soon.
I will say I liked the way it was done because I really didn't see it coming. They didn't telegraph it too much, and I particularly liked at the end where Goldust kind of turned more back to his old persona. He did the whole hands across the chest thing, and it was not. He stopped doing the goofy Goldust thing for a moment. I hope that's the way they go with it. Is that, and then the other part of it is you got your 5 best guys now in one match on the next pay-per-view, so you got slots to fill, and that's part of what we just saw, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and it didn't work out for Titus being that mid-card heel. So that's why he's now, I guess, joining up with the tag team, which it might be good for him, because I actually like that segment. I thought it was really good.
The thing I've read, and I know you'll get a kick out of this from conversations we've had, is that this whole Titus and Apollo thing is kind of a takeoff on LeVar Ball and Lonzo Ball, the father and son duo that's entering the NBA draft, a UCLA player, where Titus is kind of playing.
No. You were right. They are entering the NBA draft.
Fair enough.
Where as a unit.
Titus is kind of playing the I'm talking for you and you don't know what you're talking about, and we're going to do this. And when you think of it in that context, it actually makes sense.
Yeah,
and we know they're suckers for current event type storylines. So
it's also working right now because people are actually kind of caring about Apollo Crews.
Yeah.
He looked really good with the whole, just kicking Enzo's face off because he took a selfie. I'm all for it because you know what, Titus, despite the fact that he can't fucking talk, can't cut a promo,
I thought he did good on Raw though. I thought his little shtick when mocking Enzo and everything, I thought it was great.
Yeah, he's been getting better. Like he always felt a little bit like he wasn't sure about being a heel, but I think he's starting to feel his flow a little bit more and kind of getting his place. And honestly, good on him, because this guy kind of deserves to get a little bit more of a spotlight. He should be the mid card heel, and one of the big ones. Considering that they lost, Rusev, there's a spot that needs to be open, but it needs to be filled right now, and that sure, go for it, man. But be a good mid card heel. Eventually, that IC belt should drift back down to the mid card where it belongs instead of being a main event belt. But that's only once it's only once they get their world championship back. So yeah, I'm for it. Tiny Penis Titus, he needs a little help there. But yeah, I've been talking a lot, and apparently Sal doesn't understand the need for variety on podcasts. But I wanted to do a mock draft just so I could try to find a way to have Boston either trade the first pick away so somebody could take Lonzo Ball, or they just take them themselves and trade them down later.
There are people around the Boston area who are suggesting that they do their best to convince Magic they're going to take Lonzo Ball and then fleece him to swap picks. So, and it's Magic, so it's entirely possible they could pull that off.
I mean,
but then you're like, well, what do you want from that dumpster fire in LA? Like, what is the value you get from that?
I think the only value you get is future draft picks, honestly.
Brandon Ingram, maybe? No, they don't need a point. They're going to draft a point guard. They don't need another one.
Oh, they already got one of the best.
Yeah, so and they're going to pick up probably Markelle Fultz. So
yeah, that's the problem. Is like it worked for San Francisco with Chicago, where they're like, oh, we're gonna take that quarterback that you guys want. No, we'll give you a bunch of shit. Like that worked because they don't have a quarterback. It's gonna be a little bit hard for it's gonna be hard for Boston to be like, we're gonna take Lonzo Ball. They're gonna be like, what about that dude who got his tooth knocked out? No, we're gonna take Lonzo Ball. We're gonna make him a power forward. Watch, we're gonna do it.
We got Matt Riley's joined us in the chat, so hello, Matt. And Smathers says we're 22 minutes in and sports ball. So yeah, that's what happened.
Hey, we've been working on it for a while. We want to get a podcast, but nobody wants to hear the two of us make Lonzo Ball jokes for an hour and a half. So so we need a third person, and that third person seems to be a little reluctant to actually do anything other than just like a variety show of different topics. So instead of just being like, this episode, we're going to do a mock draft. This episode, we're going to discuss the NBA playoffs. This episode, we're going to discuss the 2017 NFL season and what our bit. No, he wants to be like, this 15-minute segment, we're going to talk about this. And for 5 minutes, we're going to talk about this. I don't want to do that shit.
Go watch SportsCenter.
Go watch SportsCenter. Yeah. Guess what? Nobody
else is, but
nobody does. That's why they laid off all other fucking people.
All right, let's try to get back to wrestling a little bit.
Anyways,
before we lose all of the audience. You brought up the Intercontinental title. That was on the line this week on Raw, and I thought the Miz and Ambrose had a nice match. I enjoyed the back and forth. I enjoyed the false finishes. I liked Maurice protecting Miz as Ambrose was on the top, and Ambrose eventually going, fuck it, I'll take you out too, because who amongst us wouldn't dive on top of Maurice if you had the opportunity? Then they did. The finish was a little weird to me. Of course, Ambrose was the victim of a low blow from The Miz. Referee, he turns around. Ambrose goes and then just kicks Miz square in the nuts, and the referee sees it and disqualifies him. And I don't know. I sort of felt like Ambrose should have sold that differently. Like he should have been like, he almost sold it like, oh, I didn't want to do that. And he should have sold it like, yeah, you fucking you hit me in the balls, I kicked you in the balls, fuck you. I think that would have been a better way to do it, because he just kind of looked stupid at that point.
Yeah, this guy can't figure out what his character is ever, because what I thought he always was going to be was the guy who was so tough you couldn't put him away. And we got a little bit of that when he was feuding with Rollins for the title. And then it was like, all right, is he just a crazy guy or whatever like that? And then like this would have made a lot more sense if it was like, I don't care about winning or losing. I'm going to kick you in the balls because you try to kick me in the balls. I'm going to laugh about it. Like that's the way it should be.
Yeah, that would have been the lunatic approach to it. Just
exactly.
But other than that, it was a good match, and it was a vehicle to get us to Extreme Rules, where they will. And this is another one. Why are we having another one of these fucking matches where the title can change hands on a disqualification? It's idiotic. It's horrible. I thought we were gearing up for a no DQ match, which I would have been fine with. But instead, the face authority figure gave the heel character exactly what he wanted, which gives him an out to win the title without actually pinning the guy. Made no sense.
Yeah. And this has been kind of the issue with the gimmick pay-per-views for a while, is that back when you just had pay-per-views that were like in your house and things like that, where they didn't have a gimmick name to them, when you had the GM be like, you guys can't keep yourself apart, this is going to be a Judy Bagwell and a pole match, you're like, oh, fucking awesome. And now instead we're going the opposite route, where it's like, okay, well, Extreme Rules is coming up here, so how do we get this feud into a situation where they got to be Extreme Rules? So
at least we don't have any stairs matches yet, so there's that.
Not yet. Go ahead and vamp for a little bit. I gotta go up smash.
All right, so Troy's going to take off. We also saw Roman Reigns took on Finn Balor in what I thought was probably the match of the night. These guys have really good chemistry in the ring together. We saw it their first time out. We saw it this time out. These guys really work well. I was a little bit surprised with the finish. I know everyone will get on Roman and blah, 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 and Roman's got to win, and that's fine. I think it's partially the 50-50 booking that we see all the time. Roman got to get his win back. But at the same time, if Balor is winning the match at Extreme Rules, like I expect he will, and moving on to a program with Lesnar, it sort of makes sense to set the expectation for him a little lower, try to not make it as obvious that he's going to win. That's kind of a device they use a lot, so it didn't shock me. Smathers on the side says, match starts, Miz punches ref, Miz becomes champ. Any questions? That's an interesting idea for booking purposes, similar to when they did the Fatal 4-Way at NXT TakeOver with the Iconic Girls, and I suggested they should just hold hands, one submits to the other, and then they win the title. That would have made a ton of sense too. Stupid pain meds, match starts, Maurice slaps Miz, Miz wins title. Yeah, I got what you were going for there. I got the general idea. And yeah, that's definitely something that could be an option. I don't think they're going to do it quite that way, at least not right off the bat. They'll have them have an entertaining match along the way, and they'll get somewhere. But yeah, that could be. Christian did a similar thing. They just got Orton so mad that Orton kicked him in the balls and got himself disqualified, and ended up losing the title to Christian. So hopefully they don't go that route, but I think the only reason you put a stipulation like that in is because you're planning on doing something with it. So Roman Reigns and Balor, Roman Reigns gets the win, which was a bit surprising there. We had Big Cass and Titus. We talked about that earlier. Who cares? We had Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt in the main event. And once again, another DQ finish, making Vince Russo very proud from his Attitude Era booking of every major match being a disqualification. The thing that struck me about this match was the crowd's complete and utter indifference to this match. They didn't care at all. They didn't give a shit about this match. Both of these guys have been handled horribly, and the fans have just gotten to a point where the personalities and the names don't do it anymore. You need to have something. You need to have something for fans to attach to, and the reality is they don't have anything to attach to with Seth. His face turn was handled horribly. It was never really clearly defined. He just kind of started saying less shitty things. And as far as Bray Wyatt's just a guy at this point. I mean, he loses all of his major matches. It's hard to take him seriously. He doesn't even have his family to back him up anymore. Half of the threat that was tied to him is gone. And it's just, I think the crowd just reached a point where they don't give a fuck about either of these guys. And that Seth Rollins Bray Wyatt match was a complete useless waste of time, and the crowd let him know. I think they made a mistake not closing with Balor and Reigns. I think that was a far more entertaining match. The crowd was definitely into it, and I think that would have been a better way to end the show.
I agree with whatever you're talking about. Yeah, it's another one of those cases where completely missing the ball on things, or completely mishandling something once you have that big moment where we built up this big moment where Bray wins the championship and everyone was happy. And then we proceeded to follow it up with dog shit. And that's been kind of the problem with a lot of these things. I mean, I'll bring it up again. Look at Daniel Bryan. The guy, he wins the world championship for the last time, and his first feud is against Kane. And you're just like, what are you doing, guys? Like, keep it. You got to keep it hot. You got to keep it going. And having Bray and Randy feud was a terrible fucking idea. And now you send him over to Raw, and he's completely devoid of anything that made him special, because he's lost the family. He's completely changed his look. He still just rambles on. He hasn't changed the way he talks about shit in a long time. And yeah, that win-loss record is a big thing, where it's just like, you're like, okay, well, he's going to start a feud with the Demon King, so we're going to have him talk about demons, stuff like that, and he's going to fucking lose. Who cares? It's the same shit over and over again. Like, I don't feel like this guy will ever win a feud at this point.
And Bray has the gift of gab. He can definitely talk. The problem is, if you were to grab 20 of the most hardcore Bray Wyatt fans, show them a promo of Bray Wyatt at the beginning of the show, and then at the end of the show, ask them what their big takeaway from Bray's promo is, they can fucking know. Mm-hmm. There's no direction. There's no impact. There's nothing. There's no there to his promos, and it makes it really kind of hard to follow.
Here's another thing. Take one of his promos, edit out anytime he talks, he specifically says someone's name, play it to 20 Bray Wyatt fans and ask him what feud is he in right now, and you'll get 20 different answers, because all of his stuff is exactly the same. And other than when it was Cena was, I think, the only time that he had something really change, and Reigns was the only other time I can think of off the top of my head where his promos were all specifically about something instead of just, I'm the eater of worlds, baby. And
the Reigns one, I think, was where they really made the turn and made a horrible mistake, because they had a lot of really genuine heat coming to Bray when he was targeting Roman's family. Mm-hmm. And they just dropped it. And I think that was a big mistake, because I think that would have helped both guys long term to become huge faces and heels, because who's going to cheer against a guy who's defending, his tiny daughter? I mean, most that gets Roman over as a face, which they haven't been able to do.
Yeah.
And how do you get Bray over as a monster heel that people care about? You have him go after someone's family. It was a brilliant piece of business when they started it, and just moronic that they dropped it.
Yeah. And, another thing as well is the other issue that you have with Bray is the fact that they turned him to face, then turned him back heel, then kind of, then I know injury had a little bit to do with it as well, but they had a little bit of start and stop there, but it was like they keep going back to the same well, where he goes over to SmackDown and here's Luke Harper back with him again, and now here's Eric Rowan back with him again. And it's just like but Rowan has a different mask now. Oh my God. Every time with this guy. And you know what? I know we're fuck the show notes. I haven't even looked at them in half an hour. Talking smack, he did a great job. And I felt like that was the first time where I'm like, potentially he could be a decent mid-card heel. Continue with the creepy stuff, and he can talk. They just don't ever give him an opportunity to. And Luke Harper can talk. It's just I wish that this feud wasn't happening between those two guys, because if you've got Eric Rowan being ultra creepy, you can't have him be ultra creepy to the creepy guy. It doesn't work. It's just a battle of who can out creepy each other. When it's like, if you have Eric Rowan going against like a cookie cutter or normal guy, you could be like, oh look, they could be a little bit frightened by him because he's a big tall dude. He's kind of crazy. He's popping people's balloons and shit like that. But you got him going against a guy who was also doing creepy shit a couple months ago. So it just seems like a bad idea to do.
I hate when they book these matches on the fly, like on the go-home episode of the show. I was like, there's no build to it. You wonder why you get to the pay-per-view and there's no fucking heat. Yeah, great. So Eric Rowan did an angle on Talking Smack, which probably 15% of your SmackDown viewing audience actually watches. I didn't think the angle was as great as other people did. I felt, in a weird way, like Rowan revealed too much of his character. I thought he could have been more vague and more cryptic and more. I thought the whole "everyone's leaving me, my family always abandons me" and Luke Harper. But the other part of it is, didn't Eric Rowan pin him cleanly like a week ago? Didn't he kind of already win this feud? Why is he still pissed?
Yeah, it's the same thing with Ty Dillinger, man. Didn't Dillinger already beat Aiden English twice?
Yeah, but
why,
you know what?
Why are we still doing that?
Because the battle with AIDS is never over, Troy.
That is true. Yeah, it's another one of those things where because of the fact that
we need to do backlash predictions tonight too. I forgot about that.
I know. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Okay.
Yeah, one of those things where they've got so much time to fill in between pay-per-views that they have no choice but to have people face against each other in a normal match if they're in a feud, and that's a detriment to the build-up. Where before it was they didn't have enough time for everybody, so they were able to sit there and kind of sparse it out a little bit and have it be where like, oh well, today, even though Luke and Eric are fighting, Luke is going to be put into a match against Mojo, and Eric Rowan's going to cost him that match. And then next week, Eric Rowan's going to be in a match against him, and Luke Harper will cost him a match. And you keep them from facing each other, but still fucking with each other to build up to a match where you're like, all right, now these guys are finally going to get in the ring. And instead we've got it where it's like, okay, well, these guys are going to get in the ring in 3 weeks. So what are we going to do in the next 3 weeks? Week 1, we're going to have them in a singles match. Week 2, we're going to have them in a tag team match with another feud. And week 3, we're going to have maybe a promo. So it's another one of those cases where there's too much time on their hands.
Yeah. The last thing I have from Raw was, in my opinion, the best part of Raw. Alexa Bliss, again, fucking owns it on Monday Night Raw. Just everything this girl does right now with a microphone in her hand is amazing. Bailey's interaction was Bailey is what she is on the mic. She's a little bit limited. The part I did not like is she hits her. First of all, this is how fucking over Alexa is. She hits Bailey with one fucking shot with a kendo stick and gets an ECW chant.
Yeah. I love Alexa as well. This match makes no fucking sense because
kendo stick on a pole.
She took that pole from under the ring. Wouldn't it reason that there's another pole under the ring? This and putting it on the pole again.
As Alexa arrives, I had a pole. I don't know about you.
No, I as well. But these item on the pole matches are always fucking retarded because it's still a pin or submission match. The person who grabs the item off the pole doesn't automatically win. It just means they can use the fucking weapon then.
Right. And if that person drops it, guess what? The other fucking person gets to use it.
Yeah, it's so dumb. Just do a normal Extreme Rules match between these two. I get you can't put Alexa through a table. There's just not enough of her to break a table.
We saw that with Sasha at Hell in a Cell.
Sasha has the same problem. They're both 100-pound women, but you can still do an Extreme Rules match and have it be chairs and kendo sticks and shit like that. And when
are we going to get that fucking women's ladder match we've been dying to get? This is a great opportunity for it right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unless they're saving it for a women's Money in the Bank match, but with the split brands, I have a hard time even seeing that at this point.
The other issue there is that the Money in the Bank pay-per-view is a SmackDown pay-per-view, and I do not want to watch those 6 or 7 women in a Money in the Bank ladder match. You
don't want to see the welcoming committee?
No.
Carmella?
And
Ellsworth is definitely climbing that ladder if they do it. So,
God, that fucking guy. I will give him credit for the fact that people were getting sick of him, and they turned him heel, and he's doing the job admirable. He's fucking annoying, and that's exactly what they need him to be. So I will give him credit on that. He's managed to stick around because they could have released him. Honestly, nobody would have cared, but now they've actually done so. It sucks because it takes away from the rest of the women. Because I get it. Natalya can't talk, and Tamina, they don't ever let talk.
I find it interesting that they've reversed the roles to a degree, but now you have a man valeting for the women, which I think is kind of a cool dynamic that we haven't really seen before.
Yeah, we have. We had Harvey Wibbleman was a valet for Bertha Faye.
Yeah, but he was a manager. He wasn't a wrestler who was valeting for a female wrestler.
That's true. Triple H was kind of valeting for a while for China.
He was still actively competing.
Yeah. I know, but yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, but it is one of those kind of cases where it's like he gets the majority of the shine from that squad, and he doesn't have much longevity after that contract is up, honestly. Yeah. So it's like we're yet again kind of bearing Tamina. Let her fucking talk. She can talk. She may not be good at it, but she can talk. Obviously Natalya, anything that keeps a microphone on Natalya's hands, I'm fine with. But Carmella can talk, and she's interesting. And honestly, she doesn't need a mouthpiece. She can talk good enough, and she learned from one of the best talkers in the business right now.
Yeah.
So I don't see why. And that's another thing too, is like these three super strong women need a guy to be their leader because he's their leader. None of the rest of the three of those people are leaders. So I don't know. I still think that we're going to have spoiler alert for later. I still think we're going to have Charlotte turn on the other two and take over the welcoming committee, though.
Yeah, and Matt on the side brings the last point I had about Raw was that the following Bayley and Kurt segment was cringeworthy, and yes, that was bad. Like Kurt comes in and I know she just beat the shit out of you with a kendo stick, but you're a delicate, and we're going to put you in a regular wrestling match at Extreme Rules. It's fucking stupid. And then Bayley's response was the whole thing just didn't work. And Kurt did not have a great night on Raw. He flubbed a couple lines, got tangled up a few times. This delivery was not at all great. There was not much there in that whole segment.
Go ahead and open up your mouth and get this hot take going at you. Kurt Angle wasn't that good of a GM the first time he did it either.
See, I thought he was really good the first time when he had Luther Reigns pushing him around. I thought I don't know that he's entirely comfortable in the role yet. I think he'll get there. I really do. The guy's talented on the microphone. I also think he's not as good as a face. I think he's much better when he's being sarcastic and healing and he can play sort of the straight man in terms of being the butt of the joke. I think those are all good things that right now they're not letting him do.
Yeah, I think that they want him to be something that he's not right now. They want the goofy cowboy hat wearing Kurt that we got before. But the problem is that Kurt is a different person, as well as the fact that then the show was a little bit less scripted and you had different sets of writers and things like that. Whereas now I think they are heavily scripting Kurt, and he's not at a point right now where he should be the goofy guy. He should be ultra serious Kurt.
Yeah. He was also loaded up on pills and alcohol at that point.
Yeah. So when you're that loaded, you don't have as much self-respect, and you're just like, whatever, I'll fucking do it. And now I think he's sitting there and being like, my kids are going to watch this, man. I don't want to say this,
True. Yeah, so that's entirely true. All right, I think that's going to take care of all my takes from Raw, unless you got anything else you want to go through.
No, it was shit.
All right, so that's going to bring us to our discussion of SmackDown this week. And the opening of SmackDown I thought was interesting. I love the fact that Kevin Owens stole the highlight reel from Chris Jericho. I think that's great. That was awesome. Mm-hmm. What they did with it was a train wreck. Yeah. It wasn't good. And to be able to have Kevin Owens out there doing a sarcastic gimmick and for it to not be good was sort of shocking. AJ was flat, and then they brought out Jinder, who just, goddamn, if he doesn't just suck the life out of every segment he's in.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue. Part of it is the character that Jinder has to play. The other part is his shortcomings when in the ring with two other guys who are far better at it. And I felt like they had to sacrifice a little bit of themselves to try to make sure they could get him over a little bit too. Mm-hmm. And I think it was to the detriment of the entire segment, where the two of those guys, if it would just been the two of them, I think we would be talking about it being a much better segment. But when you throw in, when they have to kind of drag a better performance out of somebody and try to make sure they don't bury the guy who's supposed to be headlining the next pay-per-view, it makes it where they have to kind of cater a little bit differently, and I think that was the issue. But yeah, I mean, a great setup to begin with, and it was just like, oh, here we go. And then yeah, like you said, it just was kind of. I mean, him on commentary was good, but otherwise, you know.
And then
apparently there's a spider in my daughter's room. I need to go take care of it.
Okay.
I'm the host of this episode, and I'm in like 10% of it.
Along came a spider who sat down beside her, and Troy went to kill the fucking thing. Of course, that bled into the opening contest on SmackDown, which was the pre-advertised Jinder Mahal versus AJ Styles match, and this was sort of that proving ground for Jinder before the pay-per-view, because let's be honest, if you can't have a good match with AJ Styles, you can't have a good match. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we determined the fact that Jinder can't have a good match because that match was dog shit. The timing was off. Everything seemed off with those two, and I don't put any of that on AJ because I've seen AJ. I think AJ could take a broomstick in the ring and have a 5-star match with it. He's at that level right now, and Jinder just. Even when Jinder's on offense, it's pretty much just kick, yell at the crowd, kick again, punch. There's nothing there. He didn't bring anything. And that type of offense might actually make him an ideal dance partner for Randy Orton. I guess we'll see. But it was definitely not an impressive performance for Jinder. And I thought it was one where he really needed to be impressive. Smathers on the side. Said that and his roids didn't rage on time. Okay, so apparently still talking about Kurt Angle. Oh no, Jinder. Sorry, talking about Jinder. Yeah, it was not good, and I think he needed to sort of prove it a little bit in that one, and he didn't. So I don't know if that impacts the match results that you're going to see come Sunday, but. It's it was definitely difficult to envision them putting the title on Jinder Mahal if he can't work a good match with AJ Styles.
I was thinking for a hot second that maybe we would see them put the title on him, but at this point, he's probably going to lose clean, and he's going to go right back to obscurity.
Yeah,
because if he loses. The little bit of heat that he has is gone, and there's no way unless he. Yeah, I just don't see it. I don't see him getting that title at this point because
unless they want him to be your traditional transitional champion, that's the only thing I can think of.
Maybe, but then what do? Do you have it be Rusev coming back as a face? Do you have Rusev interfere in this match and maybe spin him off to a feud with Randy? I mean, what do you do? Because we were supposed to have Rusev on SmackDown, and he wasn't there.
Yeah, I'm sort of... Whichever one wins, I'm sort of thinking Rusev gets himself involved, and maybe we have a triple threat at the next pay-per-view.
I'd be okay with that, because Rusev can carry it a lot more than Jinder would be able to. And honestly, fuck Randy Orton. And I'm not referring to the Twitter battle he got into, because that whole thing was ridiculous, too.
Which we will get into later in the news.
Yeah, which we should get to pretty soon, because otherwise, man, I think I'm going to blow my brains out like Chris Cornell. So
topical.
Topical. We're nothing but topical on this. We're still making Chris Benoit jokes 15 years after the fact.
When you say we, no, we are not making Chris Benoit jokes, my friend. You are making Chris Benoit jokes.
That's true.
But speaking of a segment that would make Chris Benoit want to kill himself all over again, we had another edition of the Fashion Files, and I'm actually just kidding. I sort of enjoyed that whole. I've enjoyed the Fashion Files. I think it's something. They're doing something with these guys. They're giving them a forum to let their personality show a little bit. I thought the closing segment of Sunday will be our Day One is H. Was fucking great. I mean, I love that.
I mean, that stuff is funny. Tyler Breeze coming in and they're very, very, very referential for things, which is great. Just the whole the Baron Corbin, 3 shirts, all wolves. Like that's funny shit, man. And then the Sami Zayn thing, I didn't. That was just kind of okay, but yeah, the them holding up an Uso shirt and it being like, "What does day one is H mean?" Like that's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, these 2 guys, they've got a ton of talent behind them, and they are entertaining. And I wish that we could get. See, this is the problem though. Is like we tried to do a serious face tag team, and it bombed. So the only thing that SmackDown seems to be able to do right now is comedy face tag teams. Because American Alpha didn't work out that well, and Slater and Rhino.
American Alpha would have worked out fine if they were fucking on TV.
That's true. That's
shocking you don't use them and people don't care about them.
Yeah.
See Sasha Banks.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Is like I was hopeful because it was like 3 weeks ago, we had 2 different tag team feuds going on, and then all of a sudden we dropped the other one again. And it's like, why can't we have more than one tag team feud being showcased? We can barely get both people of that feud on the same show, let alone to get more than one thing on it. It's like
we didn't have, again, another week where we didn't have Ty Dillinger, but we somehow managed to give him a match at the pay-per-view. So go figure.
Yeah, I don't know what, and that's the thing too, is like it wouldn't be so egregious except for the fact that Jinder Mahal is continuing to get this kind of spotlight. And you're like, this fucking Jinder's getting all this time, and the people that we actually care about are getting nothing.
It's true. It's absolutely true. All right, I think we've spent enough time on that whole thing. What else did we have? We had Breezango relegating the Colognes back to mid-card jobbers. Looked for a hot second like we had something brewing with the Colognes. They dropped the timeshare gimmick. They were actually making an impact. They were back to just being Primo and Epico, and now they're back to jobbing. Next opportunity they got.
I'm hoping that eventually we get the Colognes versus Singh brothers and a loser gets deported match. Yeah, the Singh brothers, by the way, who were on Talking Smack, had microphones in their hands and didn't say a word.
Yeah, it was really silly. I don't know why they did that, but yeah, I don't know what they're doing with them. They just haven't had any real impact at all, other than to sneak attack people, but they haven't given them really any backstory, any personality, no reason why they're there. The only thing, at one point, I think Shane asked them what the relationship was, and Jinder said, "Oh, it's not the appropriate time to discuss that," which in WWE speak means we haven't fucking come up with an idea yet. We have no fucking idea why they're together. But
in kayfabe speak, it means they fucking.
So you think that the Singh brothers are fucking Jinder?
Yes.
Okay. Just checking.
Mm-hmm.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No. They make him praise to Allah.
We had a contract signing that was just garbage.
Oh my God. Why do you have a contract signing for a 6-woman match that has no stipulations to it? There's nothing on the line. There's no stipulations other than it's just a 6-person tag match. Why do you have a contract signing for something that means dick?
Because women's revolution.
If
the men do contract signings.
Yeah, but you know what else is going to happen now? Naomi's not going to have defended that title belt for 30 days.
But she snatched some people bald, so.
And that was the weirdest thing. So, first of all, that's sure, okay. If that's what your new thing is, sure. But
it is on Urban Dictionary for just
yeah.
So it is an actual thing.
But then WWE puts up a poll that says, which of the SmackDown women's roster would you like to see Naomi snatch bald? I was like, I'm like, if somebody,
you know what the expression "bald snatch" means, right?
Right. It's like if somebody hadn't watched SmackDown and went to WWE.com to look at results and saw that poll, they'd be like, "What the fuck does that mean?"
Yeah, that's one of those things. Sometimes when you try to get a little too cute with your references, it doesn't quite work. Xavier Woods and the New Day were brilliant in the way they did that. They picked stuff that was widely enough known that it made sense to everybody, but still topical and recent and able to be humorous. I think they walked that line very, very well. And Naomi has not. But it did lead us to another match where once again Carmella defeated Naomi, giving her 2 victories over the women's champion. Is there any scenario under which she's not the next challenger for Naomi?
I don't see a snatch bald on UrbanDictionary.com.
It was there. I looked it up the other day.
I got snatched.
I'll bet you do. Snatch her bald, snatch you bald, something like that.
See cunt. Snatch her bald. Let's see. Oh, I keep getting a little shruggy guy.
Join us for another edition of Troy Google shit. Special edition of the rundown. I'll find it and send it to you, Troy.
Bald. No, I'm not finding it. It must not be a thing. I'm pretty sure that there's not a single. Oh, well, nah, I was going to say something about it, but we can just go to predictions and get that up with. Because honestly, I mean, this whole pay-per-view is essentially built around Shinsuke Nakamura's first match, and that's about it.
Speaking of which, we had Dolph Ziggler once again come out and try to carry the entire feud by himself as they continue their philosophy that the best way to put over new talent is to keep them off TV, which really has been a trend when you think about it. We were talking about Sasha earlier. We talked about American Alpha. We've talked about Ty Dillinger. Now we're looking at Shinsuke. Same fucking deal. These guys are not on TV. When they're new to your audience, you have to expose them to the crowd as much as possible. Then you can scale them back once they're definitely over. But not all of your audience, a good chunk of your audience doesn't know these people from Adam because they don't watch NXT. So you've got to make them feel important before they're going to be considered important.
The only thing that anybody knows about Shinsuke Nakamura,
he's an artist,
is the fact that he's apparently the artist, is the fact that he talks with a mouth guard in, and apparently he can do a Hadouken. Because they haven't seen him wrestle. We continue to make it appear as if he's a big deal, but I don't know. I mean, until we see him fight.
And when will we see him fight, Troy?
At the Bakrasha.
There you go. You're welcome. Sammy's got his match with Baron Corbin. Not a shocker there. And then Randy Orton defeated Baron Corbin in the main event by disqualification when what as Troy likes to call the bomb squad came out and attacked. And it ended with Jinder hitting Cobra Clutch slam on Orton, and that was pretty much it. That was the end of the show. I sort of liked
something else now.
Yeah, I forget what they call it. Fuck their names. Michael Cole still calls it the Falcon's Arrow, because the Falcon owns the arrow. But yeah, I thought this was a better way to end a go-home show. The champion is down, the challenger's holding the belt, standing over him. I thought that was kind of a classic way to end a go-home show. So it's the best work Jinder did in this episode, easily.
Yeah, except for the fact that every single week Jinder has got the upper hand on Randy, so there's absolutely no fucking way he's winning that title.
You never know. Strange things happen, man. That leads us to 205 Live. What'd you think of that, Troy?
No, it doesn't. No, we're going to skip that shit.
Actually, I will say this. If you go back and watch 205 Live, there is a segment, and you'll appreciate this. I believe it involves Arya Daivari and Rich Swann, and they come back from that, and Tom Phillips has a complete breakdown laughing about the segment before, live on air. And almost got Corey completely lost in laughing too. So that's the train wreck factor is worth going to take a look at that segment alone. But other than that, yeah, nothing special happened. NXT I thought was good and a good takeover go home show. Particularly really enjoyed Cassius Ohno versus Andrade Cien Almas. I thought those two worked really, really well together. Ohno's still doing his big boy shorts and basketball jersey. Not great, a lot of great look.
Boy, fuck that guy.
But once again showed that just wardrobe aside, the guy's a phenomenal worker inside the ring. Had some great spots in the match. The two of them had great chemistry together, and I thought that was a good match.
Fair enough.
Bobby Roode also cuts a good promo. And this is another one. So Hideo Itami comes out during Bobby Roode's promo. Bunch of security comes out to keep Hideo away from Bobby Roode. And then Troy's daughter's in action again. So security comes down to keep them apart. And then the next fucking thing you know, Hideo, the face, is beating the shit out of these innocent security guys who are just trying to catch a break, cash a check, and do their job. Then, as he's about to hit the go to sleep on one of the security guards, Bobby Roode, the heel, saves the civilian, who then runs away. And I think one of the security guards did get the GTS early on in this exchange. He saves the second one. Roode catches the GTS. Now, the security guard who got the GTS earlier is already up the ramp and walking away, while Bobby Roode is unconscious, leading us to the inescapable conclusion that Bobby Roode should be defending that championship against the security guard who's clearly tougher than the NXT heavyweight champion is. That was not a great piece of business right there. And I always love when they have the faces beat up the security guards who are just trying to do their job. It makes them look like real dicks.
Didn't they do that with Goldberg? Didn't he beat up some security guards too?
They've done it with a lot of guys. It's a trope, but it's just so dumb. Like, you look like a dick. You're supposed to be the face. You should be defending the innocent security guards.
Yeah.
Instead, you're the one fucking attacking them for no reason.
What are you going to do? They were in the way.
Sort of. Yeah, just a mess. Anyway, I think that's going to cover most of our discussions on the weekly shows. As much as we were both watching any of them this week, because it was a crazy fucking week, and fast forward button is your best friend sometimes with these shows. But in any event, unless you've got anything else, Troy, I'm ready for the news.
Don't we have to do predictions?
We usually do that after the news, I think.
Okay. Adam, this is the part where you drop the news bumper in.
All right.
The wrestling news with Jason.
The Sun reports that 5-star wrestling promoter Daniel Hinkles is offering $1 million to former WWE champion CM Punk to make a return to the ring on 5-star's 128-man tournament that begins June 10th in Liverpool. Hinkles said, quote, "We've been trying to contact CM Punk on and off for well over a year. We wanted him on the first show we did in Edinburgh in 2015. I've tried going through friends in the industry. I've gone through his website. I've sent dozens of emails, but the opportunity has never been this big. We want to offer Punk $1 million to come in and join the 5-star wrestling tour starting June 10th. It's a genuine offer. We'd love to hear back from the man himself. We want to do this with him." End quote. Punk has been away from pro wrestling since leaving the WWE in January of 2014. He lost his MMA debut late in the UFC in September of 2016 and has hoped to make another return to the Octagon, but nothing has been announced. The 5-star promoter Hinkle continued saying, quote, "It doesn't get more credible than CM Punk. We all know that if he ever comes back to wrestling, it will be one of those epic moments. I want that to be with 5-star wrestling right here in the UK. A common saying in the wrestling world is that the UK has the best fans. Well, how about we give them the biggest moments too? We are hugely ambitious. When we ask the fans what they want to see, CM Punk's name is on everybody's wish list, and we're willing to spend big to make it happen. I know he is seemingly focused on MMA at the moment, and this wouldn't have to end that, but wrestling is in his blood, and $1 million has to be worth thinking about." Troy, what would you do for $1 million?
Well, first of all, this is not a real offer. This is what we call a publicity stunt, wherein this guy.
Hold on, before you go down that road, let me just stop you for 1 second and say, fuck CM Punk. All right, go ahead.
Fair enough. This show is not going to draw $1 million or 7,700 pounds. So
I disagree. If he agrees to do it, okay, and you put this on iPay-per-view, you'll do huge numbers.
Okay. Enough to pay somebody $1 million as well as the other 127 people?
Well, you got 127 jobbers at that point. Don't fucking matter.
Yeah. Again, like I said,
127 hot dogs and handshakes, Troy.
Yeah. This is not one of those things where they know he's not going to take it. But guess what? Use dropping his name and making sure that everyone knows it's 5-Star Wrestling and it's all this stuff like that. Everybody's talking about it. All the wrestling sheets are putting it up there. You have everybody doing free publicity for you at this point. CM Punk is not going to take this because he's a bitch. And unless the only way he's going to take it is if he can win the whole thing. Because there's no way he's going to take $1 million to go and job to a bunch of British guys.
Do you remember when CM Punk complained about people that don't put in the weekly work, coming in and getting huge paydays for one night of work, and the guys who are there busting their ass every day are getting pushed down and not getting the recognition because of these part-timers?
Mm-hmm. By the way, if I worked for 5-Star Wrestling, I would stop working for 5-Star Wrestling. Because I'd be like, that's how much you think of me?
Well,
they're going to try to bring in this guy. Let me
see, that's not the perspective of the worker, though, Troy. What the worker says to himself is, holy shit, if CM Punk's on this show, that's way more people watching me. That's way more exposure for me. And it works out that way. So,
by the way, for some reason, when you try to Wikipedia 5-Star Wrestling, it takes you to a PlayStation 3. I was trying to figure out who their champion is right now. And they don't have a Wikipedia page, so that seems like it's a really good organization. 5-Star Wrestling. Guess
maybe
what?
You couldn't find Snatcher Bald on Herbal Dictionary either. I mean, maybe your Twitter's just your Google's just broken tonight.
Yeah, so 5-Star Wrestling, the only thing that they've got going on for them is the CM Punk story. Oh no, wait, here it is. Looks like they have. Well, Drew McIntyre's on one of their things. I don't think he's showing up. They got Rey Mysterio, Johnny Mundo. There's AJ Styles. Pretty sure he's not showing up either. This is a shindy for sure. Anytime that you have a poster with people who are not in your organization, or your website is plastered with people who are not in your organization, you're a shindy. You can't even put over your own guys.
Well, that notwithstanding, do you envision that CM Punk will take this offer?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think that no, because he seems like such a bitch at this point that, you know, I will give him this. I still think he stands by his whole, like, I'm not about the money. So I don't think that the $5 million or the $1 million has anything to do with it. I know the guy loves money. There's no doubt about that. But I think that if it was maybe ROH, I could maybe see it. If ROH was like, we're going to give you $1 million to come, then again, ROH would probably bounce that check. So I
don't know. Sinclair Media this week closed on a deal that bought a huge radio station, TV station, which really extends their reach into a lot of the major markets in America where they weren't before. So the Ring of Honor is actually in a prime position at this point to do some big business and some big damage in the industry if they really want to.
So, yeah, I mean, they could do it. I'm sure that they'll be happy to let Daniel Bryan kill himself when he's released from WWE. So,
anyway, as noted, Emma was sent home from the WWE European tour this past week after suffering an apparent shoulder injury at the live event in Liverpool. She tweeted the following on Saturday and noted that she has already started rehabbing the injury. WWE has not released an official update on her status, but Emma did tweet, quote, "Rehabbed the shoulder today. Plenty more to be done, but I got this, whatever it takes," end quote. So good news, it sounds like Emma's not going to be needing surgical work done, so she should be back in the ring sooner than I think we had anticipated. And I know she's a favorite of yours, Troy.
Yes. I would like to see her back, but I worry now that...
I wouldn't mind seeing her front either.
That is true. It worries me because she just got done being injured, and she already was kind of on loose gravel with WWE in terms of their booking. So it really makes you worry that she's going to be Summer Raid.
Yeah, not being able to do the Emelina thing, I think, was a big problem for her.
Yeah.
Although there are some rumors that the sort of mini push that Alicia Fox is getting was the role that was originally intended for Emma. So
what's the end game with that? Just a
Emma
little bit more TV
getting a
time,
victory
so.
over Sasha, I think, does a lot for Emma. I think it doesn't hurt Sasha as much. I think plugging Alicia Fox into that role really kind of screwed everybody up in that.
The other thing, where was Nia Jax? Like, that's supposed to be your person you're building up.
But they've already done Nia and Sasha at this point. There's nothing else to do there.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a push. Like, you're going to push Alicia. What are you going to push Alicia Fox to? So she can be...
Right, but they're pushing someone into that feud with Sasha to keep Sasha busy. And you can't go back to the Nia Sasha well at this point. It was only a couple months ago. So, and they're limited in options. So, looks like Alicia Fox got the benefit of Emma's injury. What are you going to do? Also, this week, Eric Young, Killian Dane, Alexander Wolf, and Nikki Cross, otherwise known as Sanity, have run roughshod through NXT since debuting in October of 2016. The group officially debuted during the 2016 Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, successfully defeating Ty Dillinger and Bobby Roode, as well as TJP and Kota Ibushi. Although they fell short in the semifinals against TM61, the faction experienced a shift when Sawyer Fulton was abandoned from the group in exchange for the eventual arrival of Killian Dane. With this new version of the group, they've experienced even more success, with Cross gaining an opportunity to win the NXT Championship against Asuka and Ruby Riott at the upcoming NXT TakeOver Chicago event. However, both of these versions were not scheduled to be the original version. According to former NXT wrestler Marcus Louis, the original concept was supposed to be different, saying, quote, initially Sanity was supposed to be Sami Callihan, myself, and Sawyer Fulton. Louis revealed during an interview on the Pancakes and Power Slams podcast, and that sounds like something you need to listen to. He continued, quote, we are the three people who were supposed to be Sanity at first. I was told about the idea late 2015. It was September 2015, I think. I was told by Triple H himself. He came in and said, I have this great idea for you guys. We're going to bring you in as a trio, sort of like Punk-looking people, sort of like Mad Max. And then it was supposed to be Crow, myself, and Fulton. But he was thinking the long term, and it was the long shot already. So Callahan left NXT, and then there was different talk. They were just talking about bringing in somebody new to be the leader of the faction. Not a whole lot of news there, just that maybe there was supposed to be an initial configuration. But it does lead me to the question, Troy, what is your favorite Marcus Louis match?
I happen to really enjoy Marcus Louis. And if you go back to some previous rundown episodes, I talk about how much I liked Marcus Louis. I thought that they really underutilized him, especially when I thought he had a decent feud sparking up with Tyler Breeze. And then it was like they had him kind of in the background being like a
creeper,
like a creeper for a little bit. And it was like, oh, maybe they're going to do like a Phantom of the Opera kind of thing. And then they just kind of dropped it. And, you know, him as a member of the Legionnaire's disease, I thought was decent. I feel like they missed an opportunity there, because Marcus Louis could have been really good. But you know, Sanity, honestly, kind of a shit team. They have absolutely no direction. You know, the only person on that team that's got any direction is Nikki Cross, because she's going for the championship. But other than that, like, here's Eric Young. He's, again, just kind of like taking people out. And then the other two guys, who nobody fucking remembers their names, you know, they're just like, whatever. And then, you know, the one dude gets fucking hurt. You bring in Killian Dane, and then like Alexander Wolf is just kind of a bag. It's kind of a mess. I was excited at first, and now I'm just kind of indifferent to it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see what they end up doing ultimately, because to me, with a group like this, the end game should be Eric Young wanting the NXT Championship and using his group to get to that point and then try to steal the title that way. It doesn't really look like they've done a whole lot with that. We're just kind of, now he's substituted Roderick Strong for Ty Dillinger, and it's almost like that same story is continuing of, oh, you can't beat our numbers and blah, blah, blah. And by the way, RIP No Way Jose, because apparently he's died. We haven't seen him since he got kicked out of the last takeover, and I haven't heard anything about a legit injury. I think he's still working the house show, so he just hasn't been on TV.
Yeah, I guess he's dead. Sorry.
Must be. So now that brings me to the story you alluded to a little bit earlier. On Saturday, Rip Rogers, who's a retired pro wrestler and current head trainer for Ohio Valley Wrestling, took to Twitter to mock independent wrestling when he posted a screenshot of a text, a bunch of text that basically said, and I quote, "Every indie match now. Handshake, drawn out move exchange. This is awesome chant, strike exchange, dive, no sell, indie strong style, dive, more strikes, no sells, dive, flippy floppy sequence, dive, hit everyone with each other's finisher, then Humpty Dumpty, we all fall down, fight forever chant, rinse and repeat until every move is useless and means nothing, dive, take unsafe shot that looks like shit, then hurts like hell, then roll up finish, handshake, hug after a match, everyone's hand raised. All these guys chant, go home and type on social media thanking your opponents and the company for the match and telling others they should book these guys. ... This WWE champion Randy Orton, who trained under Rogers in OVW before becoming a superstar in WWE, seemed to jump on board with it, or at least liked the idea to joke enough to tweet something on it. Tweeting ... dive. Later on Sunday, Bully Ray, aka Bubba Ray Dudley, who now wrestles for Ring of Honor and various independent promotions, threw up a photo of himself coming off the top rope with the word dive. Fairly benign response. Orton responded with the following, saying, quote, "LOL, there is a difference between a young, hungry talent diving and an old, out-of-shape vet ... falling," which led to Velvet Sky, who is Bully Ray's girlfriend, responding to Orton's tweet saying, "Wow, what a dick thing to say." Orton proceeded to post a video of a plump gentleman attempting to dive into a pool before the chair he was standing on broke, and he fell into the inflatable pool face first. Bully Ray then directly addressed Orton, saying, "Dear @Randy Orton, my tweet had zero to do with you. Looks like you were wrong. Again, you're still awesome." And then add, "Falling greater than House of Horrors," which kind of hits him where it hurts. Orton then sent out the following message ripping independent wrestling, starting with, "I really need to issue an apology," then another screenshot of more text that said, "Sorry to the indie marks, indie guys, old timers who do dives, took offense. Just having a good time over a few drinks in Denmark, closing the SmackDown Live tour while beating Raw in making over $5 million in the last 11 shows. Now, I know to some that doesn't equate to a standing room only crowd of 150 people paying $8 at an armory somewhere, but in the big boy world, that's called putting asses in seats. So enjoy your flips, dives, and 20 super kicks per match. To each their own. I will go dive back into my 13th world title reign. And get ready to flip when my bank statement comes this month. ... Headlock. Finally, Bully Ray said, "Tonight I worked for @Ring of Honor TV tapings in the same bingo hall I started with 22 years ago, and I couldn't be happier." This exchange stems from problems the two have had in the past. Orton has blamed Bully Ray for breaking his foot during a match in 2003. In an interview with The Sun back in 2008, Orton didn't hold back when asked his opinion on the former WWE superstar, saying, quote, "I never liked him. I never liked what he did because he only thought of himself. In the match, my foot was broken. It was his fault. Bubba Dudley is the most out of shape, fat, non-work ethic having person I know, and you had a bad taste in your mouth when you met him." Troy, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you've been a guy that's been critical of Bully Ray in the past. But what are your thoughts of Randy Orton's comments as it relates to the indie workers?
It's another one of those stories where nobody looks good in it. I think that Orton's comments, I mean, I don't know why he's bothering, but honestly, it's one of those cases where what he did worked for him, and he built a really strong career out of him, but it's not the only way to make it in the business. And his style of match is not the only style of matches that are out there. So just because he's not a fan of that style doesn't mean that there aren't fans of that style out there. We have been a little critical of the indie style of matches for being exactly what Orton kind of said, where they are just a lot of spot fests and stuff like that. But there are fans of that out there. Now, the people who are responding to Orton, who was obviously trolling them, you all look fucking stupid too. Like, just go out there and do your thing, and don't get into a Twitter fight with a guy who works for the WWE, because first of all, a lot of you probably want to work for the WWE, and you're gonna have to work alongside of this guy. And if he is having an issue from 10 years ago with the motherfucker, you better believe you're not going to be able to work with him in 3 years. He's going to be like, remember 3 years ago when you were saying shit to me about Twitter? That's the kind of fucking crybaby this guy is.
And he will turn right in your gym bag.
Right in there, yep. We know Bully Ray gets worked very fucking heavily. The easiest people to work in the business are the people that are in the business, apparently, because we've seen it with Bully Ray before, where
Conor McGregor too. He did a great job of trolling the internet wrestling
exactly.
people.
Yeah. Just don't respond to it, dude. Like, Bully Ray to get all bent out of shape out of it. This is the same guy who sat there and got bent out of shape because Mauro Ranallo missed a show without knowing the full story behind it. It's the same guy that got worked by Scott Dawson, who was trying to continue a heel persona and made Dawson apologize to everybody. Like, that's the kind of guy Bully Ray is. He's a piece of shit. Randy Orton's a piece of shit. Fucking Low Key is a piece of shit who sits there and claims that he's a world-class striker, so he won't put on a 14-minute match with El Generico because he doesn't believe that it's realistic. You're a fucking fake wrestler, asshole. So him chiming in is about professionalism is the biggest fucking joke of this all. But yeah, like I said, anybody who responded to this shit and got roped into it, you got fucking played.
All right, my take is God.
Orton's super conceited, and we've seen it a lot on his Twitter that he loves to stir up shit. He loves to talk about the fact that he's rich and he made it in the business. Well, you also had a connection in the business that helped you kind of pave the way for it. And yes, I do believe that if Orton hadn't been the son of a former employee and had gone on the indie route, he probably still would have made it. It probably would have taken him a little bit longer, but the guy's got a look. He's got a very safe in-ring work style, and he's exactly what the WB loves, a big fucking muscly dude. So I know he would make it, but guess what? You're also alongside a guy who's a little tubby in your last feud. You're alongside guys like AJ Styles, who built their career to begin with on doing that flippy shit. And it was only after an injury that he kind of changed a lot of his style. And you're also dealing with the fact that a lot of the guys that are coming up that are going to be working with you in matches are these same fucking indie guys you're making fun of.
Yeah, and here, so look, I've been an outspoken critic of guys like the Young Bucks and the way they sell everything. So I'm not going to sit here and say I that particular style is something that I'm tremendously endeared to. That said, Randy Orton is a guy who never had to work the indies because in terms of wrestling, he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Third generation guy, didn't have to hump the roads, didn't have to go through the things that these guys have to go through, save for maybe Ohio Valley Wrestling, which, by the way, was a WWE developmental at the time. So you're still taking decent care of at that point. Why shit on these guys? These guys who are busting their ass, trying to just make a name for themselves. Yeah, you got to rub in your paycheck in their face. Well, you know what, fucker? The Young Bucks aren't on your roster. The Young Bucks work whenever the fuck they feel like it, and they're making a decent living. They're living entirely off of wrestling. They don't have a 9-to-5. This is what they do. So there is an audience for that. There are fans who don't like the style you wrestle, Randy. There are fans who are very much against that WWE style, and those are the fans that gravitate to the other style. And you know what? It's fucking okay. Troy can like chocolate ice cream. I can like vanilla, and that's fucking fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I have to go, you know what? Fuck your chocolate. This is why chocolate sucks. Mm-hmm. Just leave it the fuck alone. And I've had this argument with a lot of people on my Facebook friends list who are, veterans of the business and kind of, agree with Orton because that's the wrestling they came up with loving. And my response to them has always been, we used to x-ray pregnant ladies too. And then we found out, hey, that doesn't work anymore. We need to stop doing that. And there's a different way to do things. Yeah. So now guys are working a different style now, and that's fine. There's no need to shit on guys who are working hard. And there's certainly no reason to degrade the business of guys on the indies who are perhaps struggling to make ends meet to pursue a career in the business. So fuck Randy Orton for degrading those people. He's an asshole.
It's kind of like if Michael Bay were to turn around and start making fun of James Gunn and being like, look how many movies I've done and how much money I've made, and you got one Guardians of the Galaxy movie and you made your big nut, but I've been doing this for a long time. What does it fucking matter? They're two different kinds of movies, and you know, it's another, like I said, there's more than one way to make it. I mean, Kevin Owens made it by working indies, working fucking armories and shit like that, and he made it into the business, and he's having a really good run on it. You know, I mean, not every single, I know that the times have changed where we don't have things like Cena and Orton and Lesnar and stuff like that who came up through, you know, WWE only, and those are the big guys. Like, you know, you got to understand that WWE had to learn a valuable lesson there, that guess what? You have to look outside sometimes at some of these guys who have built a track record, because not everybody that we tried to build up as legitimate guys made it. I mean, we had fucking Viscera, and that was a guy who WWE tried to push as King Mabel and stuff like that. It didn't fucking work. Look at Billy Gunn. And they
not a single flip was done.
Not a single flip was done. And also, like I said, they were guys who strictly were brought up by WWE, hired by them, you know, built up and pushed, and they didn't work out. They never ascended to the main event. And the WWE turned around and like, okay, we got to do something different here. So we're going to start bringing in these other guys. The majority of the top of your card right now are guys who wrestle for ROH or PWG. You built an entire pay-per-view around a guy who was wrestling for New Japan for the past decade. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a different time, and I know that Orton is a little stuck in his ways. And like I said, considering that he's bringing up shit that happened 10 years ago with getting his foot broken, get over it, dude. Like, wrestling accidents happen. Yeah. Bully Ray has been known as kind of an unsafe worker at times. And that's fine. Then go and attack him directly out. Don't sit there and do a broad sweeping generalization and saying that all indie wrestling is fucking stupid, because it's not. There's awesome matches out there. They may not be, and guess what? A lot of the smarks out there don't like your fucking matches because they're cookie cutter and they're boring. So I know that you built a strong career, but you know what? You've had the backing of WWE your entire career.
And on a side note, allow me to just say that if Velvet Sky is looking for someone to dive, I'd be willing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
WWE official
dick right off you.
WWE officials are heavily scouting the Shimmer promotion for the 32 competitor women's tournament that will air on the WWE network later this year. According to PW Insider, it's believed they are interested in former TNA knockouts Jade and Marty Bell for the tournament as well. WWE has noted that women from 17 countries will be represented in the tournament, which is interesting given that they haven't announced or signed any of them yet. It will be international talents will be a major focus. Speculation is that they are looking to bring in several talents from the World Wonder Ring Stardom promotion in Japan, including Welsh wrestler Nixon Newell and Evie from New Zealand. It was reported in December 2016 that both Nixon and Evie had signed deals. WWE is set to begin the tournament Thursday, July 13th and Friday, July 14th at Full Sail University. The current plan is to release 3 or 4 episodes of the series at a time via WWE Network instead of airing one weekly episode, similar to how they've done with Camp WWE and Holy Foley. As noted, officials are looking at holding the live tournament finals on Tuesday, August 29th. Also, we can add an amendment to this. We talked last week about how they had officially signed Kairi Hojo, and now this week it came out that Io Shirai has officially signed with the company as well. So both women will be coming over from Stardom, which really kind of puts Stardom in a bad spot. 2 of their best talents coming over at the same time. But it's going to make for a very interesting thing. And you almost wonder if it's their way of repopulating the NXT women's division, allowing Asuka to finally get that move up that she probably should have had for a while.
Great promotions to steal talent from. Shimmer has their own developmental territory, Shine. And so they have a lot of talent there that are building up. We've got a lot of our current WWE wrestlers are from Shimmer, Becky Lynch being one of them, as well as Bailey and Sasha too. So they're really good at developing the women. They're incredibly smart, and there's a wealth of talent of women out there. I could give you 64 fucking people right now that WWE should go and sign for this tournament. Kind of a shame it's only going to be 32, because there are a lot of really good up and coming female wrestlers out there, and maybe just maybe that'll push Alicia Fox off the card. So just saying.
WWE announced that Braun Strowman is expected to be out of action for up to 6 months after undergoing elbow surgery. It was originally believed that he would be out of action for 4 to 6 weeks. As noted, Braun has been dealing with the elbow issues and needed a minor procedure to correct them. Again, I think I mentioned it earlier, but that's been pretty much dismissed as a part of the angle, and he is expected to still be back within that 4 to 8 week timetable they originally expected. Working the fans a little bit there.
Why? He's a heel. I thought we only did this shit for faces where they can overcome the odds.
Well, I think when you're talking about a monster, it makes him more imposing if he comes back from a horrific injury in such a short period of time, right?
I guess, but yeah, I mean, it's so difficult now because that shit comes out so quickly that your smart fans out there know when they're being worked, and yeah, so again, another Dave Meltzer breaking kayfabe.
Yeah, a couple more stories because we still have to have our discussion about soup, Troy. So, Broadcasting and Cable reports that NBC Universal will now be using picture-in-picture technology during commercials on WWE SmackDown broadcasts on the USA Network. We've seen this technology used some since SmackDown went live on USA, but apparently it will be a regular feature going forward, beginning later this month or in early June. When the show goes to commercial, the sound on the in-ring action goes down, but viewers are still able to see what's happening while the commercial plays with sound and motion. When testing the picture-in-picture on SmackDown in the past, they found that the ratings went up 13% during the commercial breaks. That lift raised the C3 ratings for the whole show by almost 2%. The test also has good results for advertisers. NBCU will be using the same technology during the 2018 Winter Olympics. NBCU Executive Vice President of Network Partnerships, Josh Feldman, commented saying, quote, "We wanted to improve the viewing experience for fans with marketing and advertising versus just having marketing and advertising be part of the viewing experience. Picture-in-picture improves the viewing experience. That's the mission of what we are trying to do here," end quote. NBCU Executive Vice President of Ad Sales, Mark Marshall, noted the WWE has a huge fan base that not only watches it live, but also watches the commercials and pays attention to the commercials. That's part of what we're trying to build and part of the reason why we're doing picture-in-picture with SmackDown. This provides us with the chance to have an advertiser be the hero and provide that live action. BNC also listed the top 10 sponsors on WWE SmackDown year to date. Keep in mind, these are the people paying money to advertise on SmackDown. The number one paying advertiser on WWE SmackDown, would you care to guess, Troy, who it is?
KFC.
Well, Taco Bell is number 2. I'll give you that. KFC, Taco Bell, I think, is the same company, so I'll give you that one. That's number 2. Any more guesses?
I watch on Roku, and they cut to their own commercials, so I will never see the picture-in-picture stuff.
Okay, so let's go through this late night style. Number 10, Subway. Number 9, Burger King.
A lot of food.
Number 8, Geico. Number 7, Domino's. Number 6, Universal Pictures. Number 5, Nutrisystem. Number 4, The Real Cost, which I think is the anti-smoking campaign. Number 3, Verizon. Number 2, Taco Bell. And the number 1 advertiser in terms of cost and spending on WWE SmackDown this year,
WWE.
The WWE Network.
Oh, God. Wow. Awful lot of food in there, too, for a sport with a bunch of jacked people. You would think that they'd the only healthy option there was Nutrisystem.
Yeah, well, here's the interesting part to me, though. If you're looking to expand the ratings with this picture-in-picture technology and make more money off the advertisement, et cetera, isn't Raw the more popular in terms of ratings? Wouldn't you want to do it in Raw, which is on the same network?
Mm-hmm.
On a different day? It seems odd that SmackDown was the choice for this particular, test balloon.
Mm-hmm. But everything is tried out on SmackDown. Sucks for the talent because commercial breaks are usually the time that they can take a powder and catch their breath a little bit. And now they're going to have to not do a lot of moves, but at least do a little bit more so that it makes sense. Not that they're just sitting there and being in a headlock for the entire commercial break while they're picture in picture.
Yeah, and you'll be thrilled to know, Troy, that Adam is just going ham in the Smathers Lounge right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is he mad at us?
He's all over the place. He was told we were doing sports ball, and then just a bunch of other stuff. Anyway, last story earlier this week, TMZ Sports posted a clip with former WWE star Cameron talking about The Rock possibly running for president and why she doesn't date black men. TMZ has since posted a new video from TMZ Sports with Cameron clearing up her comments after receiving backlash from fans. Cameron says she has dated black men in the past, but like everybody else, she has a preference. She says her comments weren't meant to be derogatory as she believes everyone is beautiful in their own way. Cameron says we may see her with a black man down the line, and she feels that she was unfairly criticized after the first video. Cameron says she was branded a racist, but is far from racist because she loves everyone and rolls with people of different races. Can we fucking stop? Can we, as a society, can we just stop getting fucking offended by everything? Look, I'm not a fan of Cameron, okay? I didn't like her. I saw her on Total Divas. I didn't like her. I saw her in the wrestling ring. I didn't like her. I've seen her in interviews. I still don't fucking like her. But you know what? She's allowed to have a preference of things she likes. Some guys are ass men. Some guys are titty men. Some guys don't care. Some guys like a little plump girl. Some guys like an ultra skinny girl. It doesn't fucking matter. We're allowed to have different fucking preferences. But let one African-American woman say that she prefers to date white guys, and all of a sudden she's a fucking racist. Because, black women can't possibly like white guys without it being a racist situation. We as a society need to get fucking over ourselves. Stop playing the fucking victim. And if you like black women and Cameron does it for you, go find a black woman that sort of looks like Cameron and does date black guys. Who gives a fuck? You're never going to date her anyway. So why can't she just like what she fucking likes?
Yeah, if somebody got a hold of my internet search history, they would think I'm a racist because I never look up naked black chicks. But there are a couple, Rosaria Dawson, I'm looking at you, that totally do it for me. But that's not really my thing. Now, if you want to talk about Japanese chicks, I got plenty of that. White people, sure. There was a time that you could sit there around with your friends and be like, dude, I got a thing for Asian chicks. And nobody would look at you and be like, you're a racist because you don't like your own kind. That's how fucking ridiculous. I get, that black people can be racist too. A lot of them are. A lot of white people are racist. Pretty much everybody in the world is racist. And, the fact that Cameron had to turn around and we got a little bit of real Cameron, where she's like, you know what? I've dated a lot of black guys. I'm kind of done with it. And that's fine. If she wants some white dudes, if she wants some Mexican guys, that's fine. There's such a double standard because you know what? If fucking Byron Saxon was like, you know what? I got a thing for white women, which we know he does. Nobody would bat an eye at it. Everyone would be like, okay, sure, he likes the white women, other than Jim Ross, of course. But yeah, it's one of those things like, just let people fucking talk. And first of all, who the fuck is interviewing Cameron?
Smathers on the side with a good one says Xavier obviously likes the pale meat, which I think we've established pretty well at this point. And then Smathers says, quote, Japanese chicks, and Adam is something himself right now. I don't even know what this word is. Corn mealing. I have no idea what it is, what it means. But unless he was a typo. Yeah, I don't know. No clue. Smathers, clear up what that means because none of us know. But a bit of breaking news just discovered by me and only me on the Spotlight. DIY member was been injured at the NXT house show tonight. It looks like the ladder match Saturday at NXT TakeOver Chicago could be in jeopardy as Tommaso Ciampa got legit hurt at the NXT event in Kentucky tonight. Officials immediately threw up the X sign in a match versus Sanity, and the match was ended early, and he was helped out from ringside by officials. So tough spot for good, bad, not never a good time to get hurt, but definitely not a good time with a pay-per-view or a special event looming very soon. And you are welcome for me and only me bringing you that breaking news.
Awesome.
Adam on the side says, I'm a prick, and I don't know why. I don't know what his problem is.
Why are you a prick, Adam? I don't get it. Weird.
Oh, okay. Smathers said he's Cornelling himself, as in Chris Cornelling hanging himself or hanging around.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Okay.
I gotcha. Okay, I gotcha. That sucks, but we knew that DIY might be breaking up anyways because that one singer of the band said she's recording music for Johnny Gargano's singles career.
I have severe doubts about that because if you have CFO $, why would you go hire this random chick to do Johnny Gargano's music?
CFO $sign hires a lot of different people to do the singing parts on stuff.
They usually just let Sasha Banks do it.
Well, yeah, but they've done it with other people too, where they've actually gone out and hired a singer to do.
Keep in mind, these two were also supposed to be in 205 Live, and that never happened. So I don't put any stock in anything. Bobby Roode's music was originally supposed to be for Shinsuke Nakamura. So
I don't believe that.
Shinsuke himself said it. So
I'm sorry, but I don't believe it.
That's because what Shinsuke said. I mean, I have no reason. Bobby Roode told us it was original. Actually, Bobby Roode, I think, was quoted saying it was supposed to be like a theme song for Takeover at some point.
And that's what Ciampa said too. Ciampa said that he thought it was going to be for the show.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was Bobby Roode's thing. So all of a sudden it was a Shinsuke thing where that's why I said I don't know if I believe it. Anyway.
Yeah. And that was Tommaso Ciampa, for whom I broke the news live on the rundown. Completely unilaterally broke the news that Tommaso Ciampa injured tonight in Kentucky. And Tommaso, a guy I know a lot of my friends are friends with, so I certainly want to hope he's okay. Send along our best wishes to him, and make sure I get all the credit for breaking that news.
Yeah, he's one of the hot up and coming Irish acts, so it sucks to lose him. So anyway, so I guess we'll get into predictions. Maybe.
Unless I have any more news to break. Hold on, let me see.
I don't see anything.
Check my text messages. No more news to break. Okay, we're good.
All right. I think we're going to hold off on doing my discussion topic until next week because it's already 10 o'clock here, and we still have to do these predictions and all of the shit that Adam said at the end of it. So this Sunday it is Backlash. The kickoff match, Ty Dillinger versus Aiden English. Who you got?
I never pick AIDS, so I'm gonna go with Ty Dillinger to beat AIDS in front of the world.
Awesome. I assume that this is Dillinger's match to win, and just because they haven't really done anything with Aiden.
Do you know what AIDS' finisher is?
I assume that it's cardiac arrest. I don't know. What is it?
The Magic Killer.
Oh, I see. So both of us think that Dillinger's got it. Lou Parper versus Eric Rowan.
Just to follow up, Adam says Dillinger, Smather says Dillinger as well. So I think Rowan won the one on TV, so I'm going to go Harper.
This is like the biggest wasted talent match you can have there. I guess I would think with them doing Rowan on Talking Smack that I think they want to build him and see what they got with him. So I'm going to go with Rowan.
I would say it's the one that looks like he still belongs in the Wyatt family.
Yeah. Sami Zayn versus the Big Breakfast. I'm going to go with the Big Breakfast on this one.
This is one I've gone back and forth on. And I say that only because I could see Sammy getting the win here. And then they do an angle where Corbin takes out Sammy later in kind of a brutal fashion on SmackDown the next night. But all signs, logic point to Corbin winning, so I guess I'll go with Corbin.
All right.
As well as Adam and Smathers both going with Corbin as well.
Okay.
And both going with Rowan, so I'm the only one who believes in Luke Harper on this show.
Well, WB doesn't, so.
But I'm the only one breaking news about Tommaso Ciampa's injury tonight in NXT in Kentucky.
That is true. The very first appearance of the artiste, formerly known as Shinsuke Nakamura, versus Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph what?
Ziggler.
Yeah, you should definitely put that L in there because it's a totally different context.
Dolph Ziggler.
I just wouldn't say that way. I mean, it's pretty clear that Dolph's got to win this thing, right? I mean,
for sure.
Yeah, no, this is the clearest thing in recent memory. Like Nakamura wins this thing, unless it was in Japan. That's the only way Nakamura loses this thing. So I think this has a chance to close the show, and it has a chance to be the best match on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially, depending on the U.S. title match, which we'll get into in moments. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this one. I think Dolph can work his ass off here, and it's interesting in context because Ty Dillinger is starting to remind me a lot of Dolph Ziggler. Yeah. Stop and start. Great worker, can put great matches together, but just no consistency. But Dolph's never beaten AIDS, so we'll see what happens on Sunday.
That is true. So yeah, that's no big surprise. Shinsuke Nakamura heavily favored to win this match.
Yes,
in the betting odds. So, yeah, pretty foregone conclusion on that one. So moving on, the welcoming committee hashtag Team Cunt, Natalia, Carmella, and Tamina featuring James Ellsworth versus Team NBC, Naomi, Becky, and Charlotte.
What did they call them? What was it? They had a name for them on SmackDown the other day. It was like Fire, Glow, and something else.
So that's retarded. So you've got Naomi talking about snatching balls, snatches, and also feeling the glow and getting a little glow on your face.
Don't forget about putting her fingers wherever she wants.
Yep, putting her fingers wherever she wants. We've got her also requesting to see James Ellsworth's cunt. So I'm going to say that the Charlotte Flair face turn isn't working. So I want her to turn on Naomi and Becky and take these other four cunts with her and form a new 4-woman stable. So I'm going to say that Team Cunt wins.
Okay. I don't disagree with the way you think it's going to play out. I sort of feel like it's going to play out the same way. I'm going to say that doesn't happen on this show. I'm going to say that they do an angle where Charlotte gets upset because Naomi or Becky gets pinned, and that will lead to Charlotte turning on them down the road. But I still have welcoming committee winning, same as Adam and Smathers do.
All right. Unanimous. All right.
By the way, Adam is fucking all over this chat room.
I feel like you could have been on here, bro.
Seriously.
So, singles match for the WWE United States Championship. Kevin Owens, your current champion, takes on
hold on. Sorry, that's Kevin Owens.
Yep. He will take on the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. Who you got?
This is a tough one because you can make a case for any of them. For me, what it comes down to is I think they've really hit on something with this Kevin Owens Face of America thing, and I don't think they're ready to give up on that. The Jericho thing was clearly just a speed bump, and I think Jericho's coming back earlier than a lot of people expected. Result being, for my money, I think they're going to stick with Owens. I don't know that AJ's not going to win the match, but Owens is walking out with the title.
Right on. Yeah, Jericho's tour only lasts for a month and a half. So this could easily be a holdover feud. Maybe throw somebody else in there after the fact until we get Jericho back at Money in the Bank. So I say Owens retains. I could see them drawing this out a little bit more. So I'm going to say Owens retains via DQ. So AJ Styles wins.
Yeah.
Which could lead to a no DQ match at whatever the hell next pay per view we've got after Backlash.
And Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank. Okay, so yeah, so you could easily have. I'm still gonna stick with it, even if they don't have a rematch.
And Adam and Owens. I'm sorry, Adam and Smathers both have Owens as well.
Okay. Tag team match for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The Oozles, Jimmy and Jay, versus Bree, Zango, Fuck Yourself, the Fashion Police, Tyler Breeze, and Fandango. In
the battle of whose day one is H.
Yes. I think that the Usos have been doing good work, contrary to what Sal thinks. I think that Breezango has been doing some decent work, but I think that considering who we have coming back pretty soon, I think the Usos retain because this is going to be the New Day's titles to take.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel the same way. Adam picks the Fashion Police, and here's the problem. The Fashion Police are as talented as they are, they're a comedy act. Mm-hmm. Similar to Slater and Rhino, I don't think they're going to just out of nowhere put the titles on those guys. I could be wrong, but I think this is kind of being used to establish the Usos as kind of a heel team, even though they've never really established Breezango as faces. But they're being booked that way. So Smathers has the Usos winning, and the tag titles get retired.
What?
Okay. Usos win, and the tag team titles get retired. What a fucking waste of a division. Cruiserweights have a better division, and I will never say the Cruiserweights have a better division. But the Cruiserweight champion is at least on TV sometimes. So,
I mean, in terms of pure talent, yeah, but in terms of storytelling, no.
I gotta wonder if one of the Usos is injured, because they've made a great pains to kind of keep them off TV lately, but keep them involved in storylines, which is usually somebody's dealing with something.
That's possible. I mean, it's the Usos. They are kind of injury prone. If you want to be,
if you want to play devil's advocate there, if that is what's going on, you could see them dropping the titles if they're hurt.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, this match could go either way because it's the tag team belts, and we don't know what goes on through Vince's mind in terms of these belts. It doesn't seem like he remembers that they exist all the time. So
yeah,
you can see, but. And our possible main event, or should I say probable main event, a singles match for the WWE Championship. This card has no stipulations whatsoever on it. That's weird.
They did have a contract signing, though.
Yeah, they had a contract signing for a match. That doesn't matter. Mr. Randall Orton, our current champion, takes on Jinder Mahal with the Singh brothers at their side. Like I said, I had thought for a hot minute, but I'm going to say Orton retains.
And Adam has Orton. This is really tough, and I, to a degree, I credit the WWE because they've put me in a position where I could actually envision Jinder winning the title here, which would not have been the case months ago. I think I'm going to stick with Orton, and I think Orton's going to fake like some type of a suicide dive or a top rope dive just to fuck with the internet a little bit in this match.
Oh, you have to feel he's going to do something, or he's going to do Headlock City the entire time. There's gotta be something.
Now, we know we're going to hear the CM Punk chants in the Hideo Itami Bobby Roode match.
Fucking hell.
The question is, where on the Backlash card do the CM Punk chants start? And I'm thinking Randy Orton versus Jinder, because that match has the potential to be fucking awful.
Considering the rest of the card, the tag team match for sure, I could see them doing it. But yeah, I mean, we're going to get it during the Orton match, but I think we could also see it during the tag team match.
Yeah, it's going to be probably deafening during the Tommy match, especially if he hits the GTS.
Yeah. Which, of course, because Chicago.
We also didn't do takeover predictions.
All right, let me get to it. Because of the fact that Chicago people are fucking retarded, they don't realize that Hideo Itami actually came up with that move first. Okay, so real quickly, because there's only 5 matches on this card, this Saturday.
They added one, but go ahead.
I'm going off of Wikipedia here. So, Saturday, we have NXT TakeOver Chicago presented by Hulu and Rocket League with a theme song of Judas by Fozzy. It's TakeOver Chicago. Okay, so we've got Roderick Strong versus Eric Young with Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane.
It's similar to the Ty Dillinger angle. I just feel like it's going to be a strength in numbers gimmick, and Sanity's going to win this one. Although they've been pushing Roddy, so it wouldn't shock me. But if I'm picking Sanity.
They pushed Roddy. They gave us 2 fucking segments talking about his past, and then had him job out in his first fucking match after showing that. So
fucking ruined him.
Fucking ruined. Yeah, I'm gonna say EY wins this one. What do our 2 losers on the side have to say about it?
Adam says Sanity. Smathers has not yet weighed in. No. He has no predictions. He hasn't watched NXT since WrestleMania when he canceled his subscription.
Well, that makes sense. All right, so singles match for the WWE United Kingdom Championship. Tyler the Master Bate versus Pete Dunne. This match here, I have cared more about the Cruiserweight Championship than I have about the UK Championship. And I'm hoping that we start caring a little bit more about the UK Championship once the UK show actually comes about. But honestly, I mean, I forget sometimes that Tyler Bate even has this belt. But as much as Pete Dunne has been able to do, I still see that Tyler Bate is going to be the guy to lead the show once it comes about. So I say Tyler Bate retains.
I was fairly convinced it was going to be Tyler Bate up until I did a little bit of thinking. And the reason they taped this, I don't want to get into too spoilery, but they taped this UK show for Friday with, but they're hovering it out there prior to NXT to make sure they get the Tyler Bate match defending the title and the Pete Dunne, winning the title. If Tyler Bate is going to have that title after Saturday, you could very easily hold off on showing the Tyler Bate championship match and just bill it as a championship match later on down the road. I sort of think that there's a reason they're rushing that match to TV, and maybe it's because Pete Dunne is going to win. And that would make some sense. I did like his cousin Steven much better years ago in the WWE. Steven Dunn, tag team partner.
Joke.
Tag team partner of Timothy Well.
Okay.
But putting money on it, I guess I'm going to go the safe pick and pick Tyler Bate.
Okay.
It's the beauty. I spent 5 minutes convincing you it was going to be Pete Dunne and then pick Tyler Bate.
Mm-hmm. No, it's fine. In a match that may no longer happen, a ladder match for the NXT Tag Team Championships, the Authors of Pain, Hakem and Reezer, with Paul Ellering versus #DIY, Johnny Gargano, and Thomas Ciampa. At this point, since this match is probably not going to happen, I already assume that the Authors of Pain were going to retain, and it could lead to a split of #DIY, because honestly, at this point, what the fuck do you do? How many times does DIY get a tag team title shot? But I'm going to go with the Authors of Pain retain.
Adam on the side says, shocked at the news Jason broke earlier on, but if this match happens, I'm going to go with AOP. And you're welcome, Adam. Those are the kinds of developments you only get from the rundown when I break huge news on the show live. For my money, if the match goes down, I guess... Yeah, you're going to have to go AOP, but they're going to have to do something different with DIY because they can't. This is the last time you can go to this well, really, the ladder match. I suppose if DIY wins, you could, continue that feud for a little bit, but it seems like they've lined up Heavy Machinery pretty well to be the next real challengers. So I think you got to keep them on AOP at this point. and then set up for that big Haas fight.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That's right. Smathers doesn't have anything to say about any of this stuff. We have a triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship. Asuka versus Ruby Riott versus Nikki Cross in a match that was originally a fatal four-way match with Ember Moon until she got thrown into the fourth row. Who do you have?
I learned today that Asuka is a hugger, so I will say this, and we didn't touch upon it. I don't know, you probably didn't see it. They did this great little segment on NXT this week with Asuka, where she's in a car and somebody's interviewing her and asking, like, who's your biggest threat? And she's like, next question. And they ask her something else. She's like, next a question. And they ask her something else. She's like, is this interview over? Because yeah, I guess so. And she gets to wherever she's going. She gets out of the car. She does the whole thing where she's playing up with the fans and taking the selfies and doing the little dance. And then she walks away to where she's out of earshot with the fans. And I hear, oh. So they're doing this like gimmick where she's playing a character. She's like using the fans for a reaction, but she's really just this giant bitch. And I think that's an awesome fucking angle they're doing with her. So there's a long way to say I think Asuka's going to win it because I think they're still setting up for Ember Moon to be the one that takes it off of her.
Okay.
Although it should be the fucking Iconic girls.
Yeah. Before we get to the main events, we are most likely going to have Drew McIntyre on this card somewhere. And we still have Cassius Ohno and Andrade Cien Almas who have been kind of feuding with each other for a little bit. Mm-hmm. I would assume that. Go ahead.
Yeah, what's it called? Drew McIntyre is going to face, I believe is it Buddy Murphy or Wesley Blake? One of them on the dark match that's going to air on NXT next week.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. And of course, we do have Heavy Machinery that could find their way onto the card too. Yeah,
a lot of those will probably be those taped matches prior to the live show, and then they'll just air it the next week on TV.
Right on. So, our main events for the NXT Championship, Bobby Roode versus Hideo Itami. And I don't think it's going to be Itami. I think Roode retains.
I think Roode cheats, retains, Itami hits the GTS, and they keep this feud going for another takeover.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And Adam has Asuka.
I don't think we're talking about that match anymore.
Oh, no, he has Roode now too.
Fair enough. Okay.
He also wanted to commend me for breaking the news about Tommaso Ciampa. And saying that's the kind of great breaking news Jason brings to the rundown on a regular basis. So thanks, Adam. Appreciate it.
All right. So unless we've got some, sorry, I have bad eyes. I was trying to read something really tiny on my screen. It was Titus's penis. So that does it.
Here we go.
For the rundown. For this Thursday, May 18th, 2017. It has been 412 days since Asuka won the
It's almost Friday.
Women's Championship. Go to audibletrial.com/rundown for a free audiobook and a 30-day free trial. If you are in the West Allis, Wisconsin area, check out Brew City Wrestling's Retribution live in about 20 hours, May 19th. Doors open at 7:30. Get there at 6:45. Sorry, doors open at 6:45. Bell time 7:30. Tickets at the door $18, $20 ringside, and $16 online via PayPal. So make sure to go to BrewCityWrestling1.com to get those. The card, BCW Heavyweight Championship, is the main event. The franchise Dysfunction versus the BCW Heavyweight Champion Max Holiday. We have the, God damn it. It's really fucking small. BCW Women's Champion Sierra takes on Vanessa Azure. We have the AIWF Women's Championship match where Stacey Shadows takes on Luna Ono.
That's two women's championship matches on one show.
Women's championship matches, yep. We have a tag team warfare where Ring of Honor star Cheeseburger and Taylor Sunday also known as Junk Food, will take on Derek St. Holmes and Aesop Mitchell. And the Ring of Honor star Beer City Bruiser takes on BCW Heritage Champion Brandon Blaze. Like I said, go to BruceCityWrestling1.com to check that out. Card is subject to change, of course. Atlantic Pro Wrestling returns May 20th at the Boys and Girls Club in Salisbury, Massachusetts. Go to
this coming Saturday, and we are going to have a tag team championship tournament that night. We're going to crown brand new champions. Been a while since we've had them. The titles were vacated, and we're looking forward to seeing new tag team champions crowned, as well as APW staples in the house. The Juggernaut John Poe, APW heavyweight champion. We're going to have the Dynamite Danny Miles is going to be in the house. So check it out. Come check. Xavier Bell, I believe, is going to defend the New England Championship against the unequaled one, Todd Sobel, looking to regain the title he never lost. So it's going to be a great night. May 20th. Come out to Salisbury. It's our debut at this arena. Always have a great crowd for APW. I assume nothing less this time. So check it out. Should be a good time.
More information on AtlanticProWrestling.com for all the information there. Lucky Pro presents Spring Village Stampede Saturday, May 20th.
Get lucky!
At the Clark Memorial YMCA in Winchendon, Massachusetts. I guess you're going to have to decide which one of those two matches you're going to want to go to because they both take place the same day. Go to LuckyProWrestling.com for more information. Liberty States returns Saturday, September 9th. Jeez, it's a long ways away. At the John
They had their season finale recently. I don't know why we're putting September shows on this fucking thing now. I mean,
all right. But if you're in the Peabody, Massachusetts area, go to LibertyStatesWrestling.com. And of course, Elk Mania presents Elk Mania 5 on Saturday.
Elks on 5.
September 23rd on that one as well. Because apparently we need to book this way in advance. Follow us on Twitter at Rundown Podcast. Email the show rundownwrestling@gmail.com. Leave us a voicemail, and if Adam is here, he'll actually play them. Sorry, Sal. 617-863-6967. That's 61 Rundown 7.
I just pulled up video. I just pulled up images of the Stacy Shadows chick. She's like a badass woman.
Yeah, we build them hot here in Wisconsin.
She looks like a Wisconsin girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were to tell me, pull up a picture of a Wisconsin girl, this is something similar to what I would come up with.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if you take a look at Sierra, be careful because she is a high school senior. I think she's 18, but I'm not sure. And Wisconsin's age of consent law is 18, so be careful.
I'm never gonna find that picture because there's a rapper named Sierra too. So
yeah, well, if you go to BruceCityWrestling1.com, you'll see her on there.
Is there a Bruce City Wrestling too?
I haven't checked. I also haven't checked if there's just Bruce City Wrestling. I'm assuming so. Like us on Facebook, Rundown Wrestling, or Facebook.com/Rundown Wrestling.
Is that the number one or the word one?
The number one.
Okay.
Follow us on YouTube, Rundown Podcast, or you might be watching us right now. Circle Adam Rundown host on Google Plus if that's still a thing.
Don't fucking do that. Nobody should do that. If you're still on Google Plus, fuck you. Get off of it. It's dead technology. Go fucking delete your GeoCities page. Get off of my face friend.
Get off of my face.
MySpace, Friendster, whatever the fuck else is out there.
That's right.
Anyway. You know what? Do you have his notes? Please just fucking symbolically delete that Google Plus line. I don't want it anywhere in those fucking notes.
I don't have the original copy, just what he sent me. Sorry. Go to paypal.me/rundown wrestling to make donations. $10 pays for hosting for a month, or give Adam $120 so we can stop asking for money every month.
Both of these girls look like they're in fucking high school.
They might be. Be careful.
Jesus Christ.
Just telling you. Be careful.
Oh, Sal's in on the side.
Go ahead. I'll take a break. Go ahead.
He wants to know if there's this fucking thing never goes smoothly. Who are you kidding, Troy? It's usually you that's the culprit in terms of fucking derailing this segment. So
that's the funny part.
Sal wants to know if that's a Yankee bobblehead behind you. I don't think so. It's a Brewers bobblehead, correct?
Why the fuck would I have a Yankee bobblehead?
That's what
Are
I'm
you
saying.
fucking nuts? No, these are all Brewers players other than that one there. That's the Kansas City Royals, Zach Greinke. Let me tickle his balls for you. That is the Brewers pinstripe uniforms on Casey McGee there. I think that might be what he's talking about. But the rest of these guys are all Brewers ones. So that guy's an Asian guy. Anyways.
You got Kevin Owens up there too.
Yeah, I got Kevin Owens up here, and I've got Deadpool up here. And I've got my number in the font of the Milwaukee Brewers. So why the fuck would you think I would like the worst team in fucking history that I hate? And look, there's the Minecraft guy too. Visual gags. Excellent podcasting. Cram some poetry up your ass at Chasing Distant Horizons. tinyurl.com/distant horizons. Please check out the Questionable Endeavor Network.
Tiny URL, Titus's penis.
Yeah. questendnetwork.com to check out all of our podcasts that are available.
Sal said because of the pinstripes.
Yes, more than one team has pinstripes. I can name, actually, I think almost every single team has pinstripes other than the Diamondbacks.
Red Sox don't.
Oh, that's true. The Red Sox don't. But
Dodgers don't.
The Twins.
Yeah.
The Cubs.
Yeah.
The Rockies.
Marlins don't. Do they? Yes.
No, Marlins do not.
They used to. I think when they had just the white and green ones.
They used to until that was when they were Florida. Sports ball. Check out Tuning Japanese on iTunes and Stitcher. Go to patreon.com/tuningjapanese to give Andy more money because he needs it. Go to shadowvane.net to check out Shadowvane. Or patreon.com/shadowvane because he needs more money again.
Smathers says that there is no way that Sierra girl is old enough to wrestle. ... Can you get me her phone number?
Maybe. I probably could drive to her house if you give me directions to it. I'm trying to get her on the rundown sit down. Let's not perv on her, okay? Yeah. Raw Attitude Podcast just dropped a new episode recently. Check them out, iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. The Slasher Sanitarium on iTunes and Stitcher. We just came out with an episode about Beetlejuice, and we will have the conclusion of Channel Zero. I was hoping this week, but then I had to host this.
Just out of curiosity, recently watched Beetlejuice, actually, ironically. What are your thoughts on Jane?
She's kind of a cunt. I always thought that with that woman. I'm like, because the first you're like, oh, that's so nice. She got him an offer. Then you're like, wait, no, they don't want to sell their house. Why the fuck is this woman going out of her way to try to take offers on a house that's not listed?
Yeah.
If my realtor came up to me, was like, I know you've only lived here for a year, but I got a great offer for you. I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing taking offers on my house that I bought?
Wasn't that what the cunt in Gremlins was trying to do too?
Probably.
Buy up all the property?
That sounds like an 80s thing. She wasn't even trying to buy it. She was just like, this house is too big because you don't have kids, because you're a barren fucking wasteland. But like, fuck you, Jane. Anyways.
Sal wants to know what happened to Watching with Hindsight for Westworld.
It's coming back.
Troy keeps having to host the rundown and killing all of his time to do other podcasts.
Last week I was going to record for Slasher, and then I got dragged into it, and I was a complete asshole the entire episode.
Which is great, by the way.
Yeah. This week I was gonna no-show the show, and then all of a sudden Adam said, I got some family issues. Can you take over? And I was like, fine, show must go on.
He's got some issues that prevent him from being on the show, but not on the side. So we around here like to call that pulling a Sal, who, by the way, has joined him on the side.
Nice. Check out Pawn Stars on iTunes and Podomatic, the New Blood Rising podcast on iTunes, who actually still continue to not plug any of the other shows. So I think it should be deleted off here too. And the Words of Geekdom podcast, our newest member, iTunes and Stitcher.
By the way, Troy, Can I just say last week you were awesome, man.
Oh, thank you.
Really appreciated your performance last week.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I thought you were great as well. And I think that your sit-downs are A+.
I appreciate that.
Find Quest End Network on Twitter at Quest End Network. I said go to questendnetwork.com. Also check out our Discord channel. No, we don't have any kitty porn there. Search for us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Podbean, or Podomatic under the Rundown Wrestling Podcast, but you're listening to this, so you probably already did that at least once.
Oh, that's not nice. Troy, apparently Adam says you are such a cunt. I don't know why. What did you do? What did you do, man?
I'm reading your plugs. I could
know.
have skipped this part. I could have been like, oh no, my phone died. But no, I'm doing your plugs.
The fuck off what the fuck did you do to piss Adam off?
I have no idea.
Jesus.
Apparently he has 17 iTunes reviews. He didn't list any of them on here, so apparently none of them good enough to list. So with that, thanks.
Did you plug the recent sit down?
No, I did not.
Well, allow me to do that because we just last week posted our sit down with a New England independent wrestling star and legend, Slick Wagner Brown. This coming Monday, we will be posting, assuming Adam remembers to do so, we will be posting the next edition of the Rundown Sit Down featuring New England ring announcer, commentator, one of the best unsigned ring announcers in the business, hands down. Rich Palladino is going to join me, sit down, and discuss the world of being a ring announcer in the professional wrestling business.
I really want to know why he called me a cunt.
I know, right? What a jerk.
So, thanks to everybody on this. Yes,
Adam wants you to know we've read all the iTunes reviews. That's how I know if there are any new ones, which there never are.
Oh,
maybe that's why he was calling you a cunt.
Well, you gotta tell me this stuff. I don't know. This is the first time I'm seeing any of this stuff.
Did you tell people to tell their parents and grandparents about the rundown?
Oh, that's right. Tell your grandparents and tell your parents and grandparents to like us on Facebook. Tell that chick that you've had a crush on that you love her and you need to be with her now. Tell your parents that you're gay, and thanks.
Smathers says he uses Google Play, so he can't leave a review on iTunes, but he'll use his fiance's phone to leave an epic review. I would suggest you not do that while you're flirting with that chick from Brew City Wrestling, Smathers.
Yeah, I probably don't want to do that. I think you can do reviews on Stitcher, can't you? You should be able to do that if you have Stitcher. Otherwise, yeah, I guess we're kind of out of luck on that. But anyways, thanks to Mr. Smathers on the side. Thanks to who else was on the side tonight?
Adam was on the side quite a bit.
Adam was on the side, and he keeps he's trying to get me back, is what it is. He knows if I keep putting things, Troy will keep getting derailed, like he always derails me while I try to do this shit.
Smathers called you a cunt too. What the fuck?
Why? What did I do?
What did you do? Why are you pissing everyone off?
I took time out of my night to host this thing so we could have an actual episode this week other than NXT Revisited.
Troy, I don't think you've been a cunt tonight at all.
Right.
Yeah, but thanks. Smathers and Adam clearly both consider you a cunt this week. I don't know why.
That's lovely. All right.
Maybe they're just suggesting that you join Natalia, Carmella, Tamina, and Ellsworth.
There's no you in my name.
Hold on. Sal says, and I quote, cunt, 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 cunt. So apparently he thinks you're 4 times the cunt the other two think you are.
Well, I wear it like a badge of honor. Thanks to all the cunts on the side. Thanks to all of you for listening. Thanks to Jason.
Thanks, Troy. And I don't think you're a cunt.
Oh, thank you. Thanks to Ray Williams for the logo.
Not a cunt.
Not a cunt. No, pretty nice guy, actually. Thanks to I Fight Dragons for the theme song. ifightdragons.com. I still think we need a new theme song, but that's whatever. Next week, we
still have the Seth penalty thing up. Getting a new theme song is going to be way
funny. I don't know what all this crap is on the bottom of this thing.
What?
He's got like a card for something. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to read it or not.
Yeah, read it, because if you're not, it'll be hilarious.
All right, we'll get there.
Sal wants to know if CM Punk is a cunt. I think you know the answer to that, Sal.
Yeah. Next week we'll have Becca Rush reactions. And as always, Jacob, good night. And good luck. By the way, that is an old reference. Don't know why that's still in here. Fashion Police, go fuck yourself.
Or Breeze on Go, get Sierra's phone number for Smathers.
I told you I'm trying to get her for an interview. Don't creep on her. If she listens to this, she's going to be like, what the hell?
I'm not creeping on her. Smathers is. I don't know
That
why.
is true. That is true.
Yeah.
We are not held responsible for the actions of our 3 fans.
I'm sure if he calls her, he won't just do heavy breathing. I'm sure there'll be.
Can you put me in a figure 4 leg lock?
Take care, bulby faces.
Your bulby faces.
See you next Thursday.
Good.
Not you though.
Stop. All right.
Now Troy, you get to host your first ever post show.
Okay, post show. Let me read the rest of this shit that he's got in the bottom of this. So, all right. So he's got this whole thing, obviously, he's gonna have to take his own voice at the end, that like he always does with the Rundown Wrestling, as hosted by all these people. So he's got Lucky, former W Star Guido, aka Nunzio, versus Anthony Green, LPW Hard Knocks champ, LPW Tag Team Champions, the Aristocrats, Tomahawk, and Zachary Pierre Biolo versus the
That's
Heavy Hitters,
Zachary
Shea
Pierre
Cash-
Blue.
Blue. Okay. Shea Cash and Frank Compton. Dan Terry versus Tyler Nitro.
Frank Champion.
What?
It's Shea Cash and Frank Champion.
Okay, whatever. Like it fucking matters. Don't be listening. Dan Terry versus Tyler Nitro. The Punjabi Lion Robo versus Steve Off.
As you were doing that read through, Adam was typing all that shit on the side. I just ignored it.
Okay. LPW champion selfie made man Vern Vicalo, and more to be announced. Is he not facing anybody?
He's got a knee injury.
I don't know what card that is, but here goes. Stampede Battle Royale. This is a come as you are, anything goes over the top rope battle royale for the Bunkhouse Trophy. Elkmania Bay State Championship. Derek Simonetti versus Buddy Romano.
Sal says nice. Troy reads the card for Lucky Pro after the show.
I didn't. You can't put that at the bottom.
You know what? If Adam was less busy calling Troy a cunt and more willing to text Troy this information, he would have had it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like you can't. I'll put it up on the screen here for you. So, here.
All right. Smathers says we should have let Taz read this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So this is the information about where everything is. Down here. Oh, sorry. Down here is the card. Put the card after talking about Lucky Pro. That way I know to read it then. Don't put it after it says, join us next week for another episode of the Rundown Wrestling Podcast. Because I'm going to be like, well, everything after this is supposed to be notes for him.
You know, nobody could fucking read that because your camera focused is just a ball of light in everyone's face, right?
I know. Yeah.
You should probably put some porn on there right now just to make up for that.
Oh, I will never be given the password. He'll change the password on me.
Adam says he wasn't expecting you to plug the stuff anyway, you cunt.
Why? What did I do? I took time out of my night, man. It's
right?
11. I got to work tomorrow, dude. It's
Me too.
11 o'clock at night here. I don't know why I'm a cunt for fucking keeping your show afloat, asshole.
Seriously, it's almost midnight here. And fucking, I'm offended by the way he keeps calling you a cunt.
Yeah. It's all
jerk.
It's all nice and thanks so much, guys. But then as soon as he gets a chance to have a little anonymity on the side, and it's fuck you guys, fuck you cunts.
Actually, he didn't say anything negative to me. It was all directed at you. I don't know.
Yeah, that is true. He put you over the fact that you stole his breaking news.
I have no idea what you're referring to. I just stumbled across this news item.
Yeah. Oh, great.
What?
At Rockstar Troy. God damn it. I did not ask for her number. Hashtag no pedo. Smathers is putting things out that only people that watch this live know about. And then he sent me a screenshot of the side that says, I use Google Play, I can't review. She's got an iPhone. You motherfucker, Troy's not the cunt this week.
Adam says he doesn't know why he tries since you're not looking at the chat room, you cunt.
He's calling you. I'm not being called a cunt. I got it. I'm trying to read notes. I can't be sitting there looking at the chat room. All right. That is why Adam is never able to read any of the stuff that's on the site either, because he's constantly reading all these notes and looking through different things.
Exactly, which is why I think it's unfair of him to call you a cunt because of that.
All right. I'm going to actually look at what everyone wrote here. What do we got?
I suggest you don't do that.
Okay. Here, let's see. Let's go back up here. Ain't no red sun. Okay. All right. So, gentlemen, the only reason the Google Plus is still on the plug is to piss off Troy. All right. Not in the AL East either than the Yanks. You motherfucker. What happened to watching with hindsight? Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, like 2 hours after you start. Sometimes I need a week off. Oh, you're such a cunt. All right. I'm up to it. I'm glad that Adam enjoyed the hell out of this. I'm going to have to listen back and listen to the beginning of this episode to hear all the stuff I didn't hear when I was trying to get my daughter to sleep.
Yeah. Fucking leaving me to vamp for quite a while there, Troy.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you have a kid. I
tried. You just pull her off the screen and punch her in the face.
She was quiet, and I thought we were good. And then as soon as I was setting up, I started to hear her talk again. I was like, God damn it, she's gonna fuck.
There was like, the first time she came out and she was standing there on camera, she sort of sounded like a gremlin. It was a little freaky.
She does that shit. Yeah. Then she kept coming back and whispering behind my laptop here. There's a spider. There's a spider in my room. And there was, to be honest, there was one at least. Though she wasn't just doing it, but yeah. That's what happens when you have a kid, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you don't have kids. And I'm about to have another one. So then you're really going to have a hard time because I'm going to have a crying baby that'll take me away from the show if I have to do this again like this.
So Adam says, all I know is I popped up the live feed and the first thing I hear is I'm gonna Google Oscar.
Yes. That's that happened because it's funny. And it didn't work.
He didn't get the original. So that happened. The first part of that conversation happened off air. I was telling Troy, I saw this picture online today. It was Becky, I think it was Natalia, Charlotte, and Asuka. And Asuka's wearing one of the Bailey I'm a Hugger shirts, but the way the camera is and the shirt's wrinkled, it looks like it says I'm a the hard end that Sal likes to drop on the voicemail line.
Yeah. I have the chat room up now because I have nothing to look for on the show. But like I said, I'm sitting here trying to get the plugs up, trying to make sure I've got Bruce City Wrestling's website up, trying to make sure I've got. I don't envy Adam's position, but that's why I didn't understand it, and I assume that my co-host is not giving me fake information on what's going on in the chat room.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, you did read word for word. You're a cunt.
True.
It just was not directed towards me.
It was not clear who it was directed at.
That is true. That is very true.
You were talking at the time, so I assumed he was talking about you.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens sometimes. Yeah. I need to... So I'm going to send this over to... I got to upload it to my drive. I think my drive is getting a little full of page porn. I'm going to have to sift through that a little bit. Oh, boy.
Yeah, Sal just called you a cunt again.
No, I can read it now. I can see what he said.
No, he texted me.
Oh, okay. He's been trolling you the whole show. Well, that's kind of the fun of it, isn't it? See, here's the thing. You'll notice I didn't get upset about that.
Nope.
I just rolled with it.
Right.
Because I don't get upset about being forced to be on the show.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm uploading it right now, Adam. You have to be at work at 7 hours. Guess what? Well, no, I got a little bit more time. I got to be to work at 8:30. But my child's going to get me up early.
I'd be up at 6.
I'll be up at 6.
And I didn't sleep. And I didn't sleep last night. And I coached Little League in the fucking 100-degree heat today.
That's a bummer.
Pretty fucking hot. And now I'm tired.
Nice, Adam.
Well, good, Adam.
Yeah. So this is something that I noticed the last time that Adam sat on an episode, which he did the same thing where he came on the side and was on the entire time. Adam is far funnier when he is able to just type out his stuff and just listen to the show than he is when he's trying to keep the show on task, which is why I'm sure I'm not as funny as I normally am this episode. Because I was trying to keep the show on task, even though I was also kind of fucking it over.
I was trying to get you going.
Yeah, I noticed. It's difficult, man. Like it is. It's a different beast to be. You've hosted the show too, haven't you?
No, I don't think so. Just a mini-sode I did myself.
Oh yeah, just a mini-sode. Yeah, when you're like trying to stay on task, like I was, it's like okay, well, I'm trying to make sure. I'm looking at the time to make sure that we can fit all the stuff in. And then I completely forgot that we got fucking takeover, which I was happy that you actually said something because I honestly forgot all about that shit.
Well, I had
anytime.
Is it desktop? Share desktop.
Would have been nice if Sal was here.
Well, we can't force. Come on, Troy. We can't force Sal to be on the show.
That's true. Yeah. See, this is also why Adam likes to have 3 people on the show, because then he can let the other 2 people talk while he kind of just sits to the side and listens. Whereas he doesn't have to try to drive the conversation or direct it in a certain direction either. Hey, brother, I hear you. I hear you. My child put her arm onto a griddle one time. I understand how it is. And then you saw my child pop in there 3 or 4 times tonight. So
yeah, Jackson grabbed an iron at one point too.
Yeah. Kids don't understand that. Then they do.
They learn what it takes one time to learn that.
Mm-hmm. Usually, if they're smart, they won't ever do it again. You had to respect it.
On the plus side, once Troy's wife has the baby, she'll be home on maternity leave for a while, right? So you'll be able to podcast all you want.
We'll see. Yeah, I don't think that's how it's going to work. I'm pretty sure it's going to be I come home from work and the baby gets thrown into my arms and my wife takes a nap.
Good luck with the kid, honey. I gotta go talk to Adam.
Yeah. Good luck with the kid. I gotta go talk about Westworld. All right, Adam, I am sending this to you.
By the way, were you calling Adam Potato Face at the start of the show?
just once. just once, I swear.
I say that only because Adam said his son's hand looked like a potato.
Yeah, I saw that snap. Lovely. Okay, so I think Adam should have that.
Yeah. So you have to end the live portion.
Yep, I was going to. So with that,
are you going to read Sal's Google transcripts?
I don't have his transcripts unless I can log into. Hold on a second.
Adam offered to send you the email earlier, but he was too busy calling you a cunt to apparently text you directly.
Let me check. Let me check the rundown Google. Because you gave me the. Oh, hey, look! I do. So we have.
No, I was fucking kidding. It's midnight here. No, let's not do that.
Oh, okay. That's fine. I have them both, by the way.
Does he drop any hard ends in this one?
Oh, let me check. He calls us Brendan, apparently.
And he debuted a new character on a thing when Adam didn't get us the voicemails in time.
Okay, I don't see anything there. What is that?
Adam said he'll be changing the password immediately, you cunt.
What is going on over there?
The drifter showed up.
I see. Yeah, I don't see any hard ends, sadly.
All right, I'll fuck it then.
All right,
Sal, you'll have to debut your new character next week.
Yeah, do it live.
We know you won't be on the show next week.
That's right. All right. Well, thanks everybody, and we're gonna end the broadcast now. Bye-bye.